Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 112. That's right, room 112, where the players dwell. Of course, we're here with a wonderful guest tonight, the one and only, the godfather of Snap. He's been doing this since day one, making some amazing content back in 22. Don't look at me that way. You know it's the truth, my friend. The one and only KMBest in the building. KM, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. You were much too effusively praiseworthy of me. You're giving these people an image of me that I will not be able to live up to. I am a grown man who screams at losing 50-50s in a card game based around Marvel characters, okay? That's the baseline I want to set.
That's fair. That's fair, but that's still great nonetheless because you've been here since day one. We appreciate you being here today. And of course, for those who know who I am, I'm Ken, a.k.a. the Super Tech Guy, the gentleman with every variant in the game.
Every variant?
Every variant. That's right. And I'm here with our co-host, the one and only Mr. Epic Sax Party Man himself, the host of the Golden Gauntlet, the one and only It's Guest Gaming. Welcome on in. Guess. How you been?
Heyo. I'm good. It's been a long day. I've already done a 10-hour live, and this is how the day is going to wrap up for us because, I mean, we'll get to the OTA later in the podcast, but it's been an incredible week for a variety of different reasons, and it's one of the reasons, obviously, that KM is here hanging out with us to talk about last week and, well, this past weekend and all of the chaos in there. But, I mean, I'm doing well. I'm surprisingly awake. I'm not going to lie. That is amazing. Surprisingly.
I'm glad to hear that. As long as you're awake, because I know how the hours went that weekend. But nonetheless, I'll be remiss not to
It's fascinating that you bring that up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm on the exact opposite schedule. What happens every OTA is, and this is a peek behind the curtain in the peek behind the curtain episode. We are usually informed that the OTA is expected to drop at time X. That's typically what we know. It's public information. Right. They say we really want our OTAs to get out at 5 p.m. Eastern. I typically have issues sleeping. So sometimes I'll try to fix my sleep schedule because my day off is Wednesday. Thursday I work, right? So I'm much freer yesterday than I am today. And so I'll try to fix my sleep schedule by like having a good I don't need much sleep on Wednesday. It'll be fine going into Thursday. That doesn't always work. What happens every single time is I'm like, it's okay. I'll take a nap after the OTA. And then I'm sitting there having taken a NyQuil or whatever, just waiting for the OTA to drop. And it's always like an hour and a half late. And I'm just sitting there staring at it. And I bring this up to say, I woke up approximately 2 minutes ago because the OTA was on time and I got my nap. I got a message from guests. Yes. And I was like, I will be 5 minutes late because I woke up. None of my alarms. Absolutely zero. You have no idea how close I was to missing this entire podcast. A choice that would have lived in infamy, but was nonetheless thrust on me by our cruel overlords at Second Dinner, because every single time I'm just sitting there waiting for the OTA so I can click publish on a video. And if I miss that or I sleep through it, there is no way for me to like get those views back. Right. And I just have to like sit there. It's a real hurry up and wait moment for creators, I think.
That's literally why I stopped making OTA videos, because I hated that exact moment. Because for those who don't know, on the creator side, you know, obviously we can't publish the information until it's public. And they give us the, okay, it's going to release at blank time. So that waiting on the button like, now? Okay, it's 2 minutes late. Now?
Yeah.
Do I push? Can I push the button now? No. How about now? No. I see it in the game. Can I play it now? No. Okay. Is it in all platforms? Yes. I was so tired of that those videos, and KM, you know, both of you know this firsthand. If you don't catch the first 15-minute wave post OTA news dropping,
it's over.
It's like 20% of its normal viewership, because most of it happens in that first half hour to an hour. Like, you have to get that first wave. The YouTube algorithm has to take it. KM, I feel your pain, and that's why I gave up. Because I started to hate and despise that constant feeling.
Having to wait.
The worst part is when like something gets leaked, right?
Oh my God,
and
yes.
Everyone has to figure out what they're legally allowed to say about whether or not that's actually happening. I am lucky. I have put myself in such a sort of boy who cried wolf situation. I just lie about every OTA, and then at some point, like, this has happened, I can just be like, man, it's going to be crazy when and then a thing that actually is in the OTA, and my entire chat will just be like, shut the fuck up, KM. Are you allowed to say that on this podcast? Am I allowed to say that? You are now.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
it's
like,
true,
this is one of those things, like, my chat was complaining about, like, talk about Torch and Deadpool and doublers, right? And obviously the OTA happened. We know Human Torch got sent to 3-3. But I was like, yeah, one day maybe they'll fix Human Torch right around when they fix Kang. And it's like, that's the kind of, like, misinformation that I suffuse all of my... At this point, all of my mods just, like, tell people to ignore me on patch days. And that has made it actually functionally impossible for me to break my NDA in a real way.
That is true. That is very true. But I totally agree with you both. It's bananas to even try to plan that out because it's never on time, or it's earlier, or like you said, the leaks just make it another big problem. So I totally get that. But nonetheless, today's also another special day. Today, for those who love football, is Madden Day, ladies and gentlemen. So I know it's a Snap podcast. I had to bring it up. Madden dropped today. Yes, it did. The 14th. Madden is now out on all consoles. I am super pumped and excited. I know some stores are waiting till tomorrow to drop it, but you could get it today. You could have got it 7 days earlier if you did the whole NCAA and Madden thing together. But today is officially Madden Day. Nonetheless, I want to talk about what everybody wants to hear, and that is how you two, KMGuest, gets pumped, get excited, and get ready to go out there and give us phenomenal performances when it comes to casting the Golden Gauntlets championships. Now, I had the pleasure of doing one of them with you guys, the first one, and you guys killed it, knocked it out the park. I felt special. Thank you guys for having me there. And in the last two, you guys just went above and beyond as always, bringing that bar up again and again, and always entertaining everyone. So people want to know, how do you guys get ready for it? Do you guys listen to music? Do you guys get pumped? Do you guys look at Snap videos? Do you guys casting while you're waiting? Let the people know. And since KM is our guest, KM, I'm going to let you kick that one off.
Something I'm not sure people get about me is that I'm just sort of like this. Like, to the degree that I play a character, it's mostly exaggerating things that I already actually am. And even then, like, I wouldn't even say there's that much of that. Like, I am not doing this for a bit, so there's no, like, what do I do to get pumped? I show up to work. That's it. Like, I sit down in front of my computer, and then I talk about Marvel Snap, which is the thing that I do for my entire... Like, it's the easiest thing in the world to me. There's no ritual required to get into it the way it is with streaming, because it is so clearly set up. These are the rules. This is what you have to do. Go do this. Don't mention anything that's copyrighted. Don't swear. Don't do a bunch of... Is this where I drop? Are you not entertained? Is this
this is where you're allowed to? Yes.
Okay. Like, there's just a bunch of stuff where it's like, all right, if things are clearly explained to me, and you're just like, here's what we need you to do, here's what we don't need you to do. Go out there, talk about the game, do that, and then we're going to pair you with someone who is an excellent broadcasting partner at just letting you go. And I don't want to speak for you, because that's exactly the thing I'm referring to here, which is, like, one of the things that I do have to work on is letting other people breathe. I feel like I'm very conscious of that. Like, I remember that big clip from the first Golden Gauntlet, and what everyone's like, wow, that's hype, you did great. And, like, all I can see in that clip is I interrupted you. I was like, yeah, that was when you should have been talking. It's the play-by-play. But I was like, oh, my God, about something. And it's like, no, that's not my job. You're the guy who's supposed to do that, right? And, like...
No, continue.
So for me, it's the easiest thing in the world, because I only have to show up. What I'm doing before then, honestly, a lot of the time is just what everyone else who's watching the stream is doing, which is talking. So I'm talking to the people in the Discord, and I'm talking to the people in various community spaces, and then when someone names themselves Bullseye Mpreg, I am like, hey, someone has named himself Bullseye Mpreg, and everyone else is like, we don't know what Mpreg means, and I have to explain the concept of Mpreg to the entire Golden Gauntlet staff team.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
that's
Here's the with
feel free,
that,
again,
though,
feel free to edit this out. I'm just gonna keep
no,
going.
no, it's fine.
you're good,
because
you're
but here's the honest truth with that. Like when that situation happened, we had like initially done like a first scan of the names. And this is for Golden Gauntlet 2. We went through just a rough scan of looking through names for like obvious things, obvious IP, infractions, like you can't have the name Batman. No shit. It's a Marvel broadcast, like that kind of stuff. And we do our initial through and we're like, okay, let's do this. And then the Bullseye Mpreg name pops up. And I think it took about 6 seconds for you to go take that shit down in our chat real fast. And it was like, and because remember, I'm the production manager, I'm the one clearing these things going on the screen. So I'm sitting here going, what's wrong with that? And then you explain what it is. And I'm like, oh, I need to block that part of the word out. So I'm like editing in the background a little like bar, a little black bar to censor out Mpreg because I have to leave them on the screen. But then going into this recent Golden Gauntlet, we had extra layers. Okay. We built it into the bot that checks the name, a profanity score, an IP concern score, and then even still with that, I went through all 1,200 names that were initially registered individually, and yet we'll still miss things between all of the systems. What was the one that we had? We had one of them that you also called out at the very end.
I don't even remember which one it was this time. I think that was probably like an IP related one that I don't want to like name the person specifically because that's just way less funny than talking about Bullseye Mpreg.
Oh, one was a magic card. That's right. Destructive said it. Yeah. That's what it was. It was a magic card.
And I just wanted to like specifically point that out because one of the things that happened this go around was you guys gave casters admin access, which we promised not to use in any negative ways. But it meant that I could just like randomly check tickets, right? Do you have any idea how many people who got like, hey, you got to change your name, brought up Bullseye Mpreg as like precedent for why their name was okay?
Yeah.
It was a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. It's true though.
That,
so
right? Compared
like
to
that's like the Bullseye Mpreg incident is the name of my band actually. But like that's like when you're asked like what I'm doing before like I'm just like I am eating and sleeping and breathing this game. Just sort of swimming in it, right? Like that's what I'm doing beforehand. The other thing I'm doing is because the program we use is so, we'll say, finicky. I am browsing entirely on my phone because I have to just leave my computer up and running and in a room for 9 hours or whatever. So what I'm also doing is developing carpal tunnel in my pinky. That is a fact. The day after the Golden Gauntlet, my finger was in serious pain from like, ow. I had to hold it up because this is how I was holding the phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest thing about my life. I got to tell you, it's an easy life.
We need to get you like a stand, for your phone that you could just hold it differently, like a gimbal or something. Okay, you got this. You got the same one. So
this is how I read chat. My little Hello Kitty stand. I think it's Hello Kitty. I don't actually know. Yes. I very much stole it from my girlfriend. So, very much not something that is mine.
So literally, just take it and hold the bottom of it instead, so you don't have to do the whole pinky underneath thing. I have a black version of the exact same one. It works.
That has legitimately never occurred to me in my entire life.
And you're welcome for being introduced to the idea. So either way, getting into what we'll call caster mode, right? Because obviously beforehand, I'm the production guy. I'm here. I built the stream. I'm listening to the caster call. I'm on also in the chats. I'm constantly looking for games, which we could talk about round one in a second. Like I'm constantly looking for all of these different things nonstop. So the only thing that I do to get hyped up is right before I'll pop a multivitamin, just to give myself a little natural extra burst of energy to wake me up, because gotta remember, I've been up for however many hours. I'll drink coffee and I've done caffeine pills and energy drinks and all these things. A multivitamin, just a standard, like no brand name needed here, but just like a regular multivitamin just gives me enough of a natural, okay, I'm awake, I'm fully present, I'm mentally coherent. It's not just pump myself with taurine and caffeine and just sugar and get myself going for 2 hours. It's just a natural a little bit more of a natural reset, and just elevates me to being at my best. So right before I go on air, I'll pop a multivitamin and, make sure that I'm super hydrated. I've done vocal warm-ups, because I'm a nerd that way, and I come from a music background. So I'm sitting here during the quarterfinals and the top 16 going, doing like arpeggios and shit, just because I'm so consciously worried that I'm going to crack on air. And that's just one of the most annoying things for me.
So when you take this multivitamin, do you sweat at all?
Afterwards or during?
Yeah,
well,
pop a multi, I'm sweating. Woo!
Not really, no.
I don't know.
I'm constant. No. No.
I got it wrong.
That's crazy. See, okay, so this is where you relate to tech more, and I am the really anchored. I'm the guy who didn't know MPreg. You think I followed along with the lyrics of the song?
In your entire life. That is the most racist thing you've ever said. We are going to cancel you. This is where you relate to tech more, is a rap lyric. All right, man. Okay, I see what you are.
You can completely say it, because Super Tech God has pulled this shit to me on this podcast with lyrics before that I have not gotten. He is the lyric guy. Super lyric guy, not tech guy, because y'all know he can't operate a damn microphone. So nice try.
Tech, guys. Stop it.
Yeah, he's
microphone
canceled.
is not tech.
He's getting
Go
canceled.
ahead,
This episode's never going out. It's over, dude. You can't do that.
You can. It's our own podcast. No, but for real though, like no sweat. There's no sweat. There's no sweat.
That's the song. He's joking, but yes,
I know.
Understand no sweat. I was just intrigued. Is it a vitamin? I mean, sorry, is it a gummy bear, or is it like a pill? Like what kind of multivitamin is it?
Just a standard, over the counter, store brand, generic, multivitamin.
Is it solid or is it a gummy?
Solid. Yeah.
Okay. So someone's asking.
Is that a lyric too? What am I supposed to know here? Is that the follow up?
I would make fun of him for this, but I actually do the same thing before streams. I take a vitamin. I prefer if it's like a gummy little vitamin, because that gives me like a little bit of like sugar or whatever.
Right.
But I don't do it for like an energy boost. I do it because I'm going to spend the next 4 to 8 hours sweating and screaming and yelling and anything that can keep that evened out, right? I don't eat on stream, right? This is not a thing that I do. I drink water, I drink tea, I drink coffee, but I'm going to spend, that's my day, right? You take your multivitamin at the beginning of the day. What I'm confused by is being able to feel the effects of a multivitamin. Because that is not something that has ever happened to me in my... That's what I'm saying. Right. I have no idea what that experience... that is not anything that makes sense to me.
Try that next time you're tired, you're sleepy, but you don't want to fall asleep. Don't go for a cup of coffee. Don't go for tea with caffeine. Pop a multivitamin.
Okay.
And watch yourself level out.
I do that every day already. Though. So are you suggesting that what I'm supposed to do is take extra multivitamins?
I take a second multivitamin on those moments on those days. If I'm going into if I'm going into a caster situation, or if I'm going to need to be that kind of for whatever kind of stream moment, whether it's a Marvel Snap event or whatever, I always take a multivitamin every morning anyway, but I will take a second one specifically. Because remember, your body, and you only take in about 20% of all of what you take on a solid multivitamin anyway. Your body only doesn't get the full amount.
Have you ever looked at the back of those?
Yes. You're not going over
they're 150% your daily value. I'm actually afraid of taking multiple multivitamins, because I'll be oh my God, what if I give myself vitamin whatever the hell poisoning?
No. Doesn't work like that.
Okay.
If you chug a bottle... Right. Yeah, no, if you chug a bottle, we'll have a problem, and we'll have to call some people for you. But no, for a tablet, your body only ingests 20 to 25% of the actual value of what the tablet has ingested inside of it. You can take technically multiple and several multivitamins. If you actually read the back, will say take 2 a day anyway. I always take one.
Wow, interesting.
I always take the prescribed dosage, right? I'm a stickler for, I read the bottle, whatever, I'm taking 2 a day, I take 2 a day. But then that would imply to me then that you would take 2 of them and then take 2 more of them. And it just seems like
one and one.
I would never do that. That's horrifying to me. Not a chance.
My multivitamin is a CMOS multivitamin. It has a bunch of other things in there, black oil seed, etc. And it says only take 1 every 24 hours. So again, I won't take the chance and take 2. I mean, I'm a big guy. I should be able to take 2 of them. But it's interesting that you take the multivitamin to actually feel like a boost or a kick, which is interesting. So I was going to
That's how I got through 24-hour streams. Yeah.
I just feel like that implies something about your physiology. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like you have a little X gene that's like getting triggered by a multivitamin that nobody else has, because I've never heard anyone else say this sentence in their entire life.
Yeah. For me, it works. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome stuff. So there we go, guys. So you guys heard it here first. KM is ready. He's ready to go always. He loves Snap, so he's ready to talk about it and guess pop multivitamins until he starts sweating. I love it. So are you guys excited for the next rounds of the wonderful GGs? Is there anything different you guys want to bring to the table?
Oh, man.
That you guys can actually sport? I know you guys came together with the awesome blazers. You know, I was real impressed with the blazers you guys pulled out for this one. Well, let's hear it. Hold on. Let's hear it.
I did not plan on wearing a blazer, but this was a domino effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was social contagion.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, you go in because you were first.
Sure. What happened was everyone else, they asked us for headshots, right? Everyone else submitted normal streamer headshots. I used one of my thumbnails, right? You don't wear, suits in your card game thumbnails. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Pulse Glazer submits a headshot from a wedding, which I think is the single best picture of Pulse Glazer anyone has ever taken. And I don't mean that as a slight to Pulse Glazer. It was just like I looked at that and I was like,
outfit.
I don't know how they did it, but they framed it such that his facial hair looks perfectly like he runs the mafia. I don't know how he did it, because I'm not someone who my personal belief about my looks, I don't tend to look better in more formal things. But I'll be goddamned if someone else is gonna do a bunch of formal stuff and make me look like shit. So I went out and I got a nice little jacket that you can wear up or down. I'm not gonna show up to this thing in full suit, tie, things like that. But the jacket that I got, not a blazer, by the way, important distinction, goes sort of up and down. I wanted to get something specifically that I could wear with any kind of thing under it in a casting situation to imply formality, but not stuffed shirtness, right? And I did that, and then Guest saw that, and I assume ran to his closet to find a blazer the day of.
Almost. So we had talked because, as you were saying, I asked everybody for headshots because I was going to put out the caster image, and then after going through a couple of different images with Pulse, we settled on that one where he's in the suit because I think he looks great. And as you said, he looks
amazing.
Great.
He looks amazing.
As I put that photo together for the caster announcement, I didn't even think of it as oh wow, he's so dapper in this, and all of us look like streamer bums. And then you immediately said that day, I'm gonna now have to wear a blazer because I will not get shown up.
Yes.
That's why the entire stream on the back of my chair, I had my blazer ready. I was ready to go. So that way, when it was time to go on air, it was all right, here we go. Let's go. I was ready and rocking and rolling because it was just, I wasn't going to get shown up by you side by side simultaneously. Right. So it was just a blazer bud type thing.
Sure. Have you considered that right now you look like you would work for the picture of Pulse Glazer?
I'm well aware of this with the tracksuit and the gold chain.
Have you considered that you look like one of his goons?
That's you? 100%.
Are you he's gonna send you to break some guy's legs?
I already got made fun of today for being an Italian American, so I'll simply say I'm well aware of how I look, and I'm quite okay with it.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Don't break my legs. I didn't mean it like that.
Just when you get an offer, don't refuse it. That's all I ask. It's real simple. Yeah.
He looked like the if the Cube Mafia was a person. Like that's like that's
facts.
yeah.
That's facts.
And
true.
he's like the underboss or whatever. Like that's what the like it is like I know that the camera can make people look different. I have never had a photo as good as that in my entire life. Some people look good in photos. I am not those people. I have never had a photo that good in my entire
I don't
life.
see anything wrong with your photos though. So, but I mean,
They're okay, but they're not like I look like
Pulse.
me in every context. You know?
right.
I never look like
Pulse
that.
look different. You're right. Did he even have?
Yeah,
a
he
blazer
was
on that
he
night?
was dapper.
He didn't
Yeah.
wear. He didn't wear.
Yeah, he had a blazer. He had
took it
his
off
blazer on,
partway
and then
through.
halfway through,
yeah.
he was like,
Okay.
"Screw this,
He got too
I'm
much.
Yeah,
done.
he
I'm warm."
has, and this is accurate to who he is. He had enormous exasperated teacher energy during the cast,
Yeah.
where it was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
all right, let's get down to it and explain what's going on to these kids. Blazer off.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
time
right.
to relate. You
That
know,
is right. That is true. That is very true. That was amazing.
Like I tuned, I was like, yep, that's true to form right there.
Speaking of those casters, was there anyone that you guys wanted to actually pair up with and cast the event with, out of the casters that were there this weekend?
Ooh,
Asking the tough questions, I know.
You want me to take this one? I'll let you.
sure.
Think.
You go ahead.
Husky's my boy. Like Husky's someone
Killed it.
who I put forward as someone who should absolutely have as many opportunities as possible. And it's really awesome to see him get those opportunities, because one of the hardest things in Marvel Snap is getting new streamers into it. And it's something that I focus on pretty heavily. Like you have Lambie and Husky and Woody when he still played, and like that whole crew.
Yeah.
And then the other group of people that I'm trying to like get a spotlight on right now, which is like Roram and Denish and Smiles and them. And like there's just a bunch of people who are really good, but it's hard to find an audience for their specific type of content that is meaningfully differentiated from my audience. And I have like first mover advantage, which is not fair and sucks. And so what I try to do is get as much of that first mover advantage put towards, so like it's better for me too. Because if there's other people focusing on the niche that I'm in, which is competitive, it like sort of proves the point that it's worth being in, right? And so people like Husky and all those other people that I mentioned, I would love to cast with Husky, because that's literally just would be us hanging out. Like it wouldn't be anything.
Yeah.
It would be us getting paid to do what we do anyway, right? Like that's the easiest thing in the world. I will say though, I think the roles would be pretty ill-defined with him and me. So, like, I think the reason you work well as a pairing for me is because our roles are extremely well defined, and
I agree.
that is like a very, I think it's like a harder of a thing to replicate than you'd think, and it adds a layer of professionalism that I think might not exist if it were just me and Husky, goofing off.
Right.
And it's one of the reasons I'm so, and Tech knows this from behind the scenes too, I'm very picky when it comes to caster dynamics and like who's going to work well with who's going to look good with who brings what energy, etc. And when putting together Gregor and Husky, after the meeting, we had our tech meeting a couple of days beforehand. They asked me straight up, for advice, because they had been practicing together on casting, which I thought was great that they got together and they were putting in, reps to figure out their own rhythm. How are they going to cast together, and who likes to do what and who likes to say what and when and da-da-da. And they asked me for advice, and I told them literally what our kind of understanding was, which is I like to give the hype calls on, play-by-play in turns 4, 5, and 6. You're way smarter at the game, so you breaking down the statistics and going through this, and this movement makes here and this setup makes more sense, and da-da-da. Like the flow that we have as a caster duo is literally what I told them, because we know that it works for us, and that's just my experience. It seems to be that you need to have that kind of a balance. You have to have somebody who can fill and talk specifics and strategies and numbers and really get into the nitty gritty side of the Marvel Snap. But then you have to have somebody else who can bring the energy in the energetic moments to try to figure that out. That's why I put Pulse and Perry together the same way, because I've cast with Perry before. And Perry has the ability to kind of just ride the edge, kind of almost in between both roles. So depending on what I need him to do, like when I cast with him, he fills the same role as you, KM. But I asked him specifically with Pulse, because I think Pulse is much more that analytical style of person. I was like, Perry, I'm going to need you to push even further and be more on that direction, pushing the narrative, push the energy. Here's the turn 6, give the play-by-play type stuff. So building that is incredibly important to me as a production.
He was
because
great, by the way.
Yeah.
Like
Perry did a
everyone
great
I saw
job.
everyone I saw on broadcast was really, really good. Like I want to be super clear about that.
Yeah.
Perry Manilow was the biggest surprise for me. I don't really like. I know like I was blown away by the ability he showed to convey the situation clearly, but also to set up Glazer for these moments of analysis and insight while also doing this. I was incredibly impressed with that, because I think it's easy when you've never really done a lot of casting before on a stage like this to default to a sort of chatty, casual style. Right. And he did the exact opposite of that. And I was really, really impressed with how he approached it. Like, I don't want to single someone out and be like, okay, Husky's my friend and Perry was awesome, and now it's like I feel like I have to say stuff about everyone at this point. So I do want to be clear: everyone was amazing. The person I was most surprised by was Perry, because I just didn't know there was, with all due respect, another you out there. Like, that's what it felt like I was watching. I was like, oh shit, it's that guy.
He's Perry, I've like I said, I've straight up, like I've cast with Perry several times in different events, and I know his dynamic, and that's why I felt comfortable giving him that role of that lead in that moment, because I know he can handle it, and he did a very, very, very good job with that. So he's the one that I would cast with in a heartbeat again, just because he gets it. He just straight up gets it. He's a very solid caster partner. The surprise, removing that one though, the one that surprised me honestly was Gregor, because I brought Gregor in wanting him to be kind of more in that hype role, similar to myself and similar to what I asked Perry to do. I was more surprised at the balance that him and Husky created with a very different dynamic, because the dynamic that Pulse and Perry have is very similar to what you and I have.
Yeah.
The dynamic that they set up was basically juggling the two roles back and forth. So they were constantly, like every now and then Husky would go into the hype mode, but then Gregor would break down what they just saw. And then Gregor would go into the hype mode, and then Husky would break down. So they had a volleyball tennis type mechanic going on with where the hype was going. But I am going to give your boy Husky one little dig. I'm going to give him one little dig.
It might be something that I agree with, depending on what it is.
There were several moments where it's turn 6 flipping, and Husky loves to think that it's a cliffhanger in a 1950s Western, because he'll sit there going, will they put the Negasonic on the left side? Will they put it on in? Hang on, folks. And I'm just waiting for him to go, we'll see you next episode. Be right back. Like, it was and he did it several times, and it was the only thing I kept going, like, it's not Woody's Roundup. It's
he's on Bonanza.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. He's on Bonanza. Yes. That's exactly. And he only did it a couple of times, but every time I cracked up because I caught it, and I'm like, waiting for the turn 6, and then the turn 6 happens, and then they were fine, and their relationship together was great, and you could really tell because of that dynamic though. On the next episode, right, you could tell that they put in those reps though between the two of them. You could really tell that they did that.
You saw it.
I was so confused
Gregor
by the
surprised
dynamic.
me because of that.
I was confused by the dynamic because I was just like you would tune in a clip, and it would be because they're ping ponging, right? So if you watched like 4 minutes of it, you'd be like, man, one guy is talking a lot. It's like one guy, that was their 4-minute shift, right? And
over the scope though, it worked. Sure. So yeah, I'll agree with you.
I will say this, Husky is the most 1950s coded man alive. Like, this is a guy who listens to like Puttin' on the Ritz. There's a game we play in his stream sometimes,
awesome.
which is I'm gonna name a rapper, and he has to tell me if it's a real rapper or someone I just made up. And this is that we also like this is a man who has I have never met anyone his age who is more out of touch with like what the current moment is, and he is proudly such. So, like, when you say that is his frame of reference, it probably literally is. Like, it could literally be that he was watching Bonanza. Like, that is
I
like
believe
one of the coolest things about the guy is how utterly confident in being exactly the person that he is with exactly the quirks that he has, the guy is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
And it's interesting enough, I got to hang out with Husky Puppies twice. And KM, I haven't hung out with you at all, which is
I don't leave my house.
We got to change
You
that.
want me to leave my house?
That's fair.
No.
We have to change that.
I'm not.
Guess,
You want to come to my house? Is that what you want to do?
We'll make a trip. Guess we'll be in the States at the end of the year. We should definitely plan something and make a trip and see how KM is doing.
I feel like people
what I'm
don't
saying?
get that. Like, it's been 2 years of uploading a video every day. I can't leave my house. I can't go on family vacations. Like I can't do any of that. So there is that aspect too. It's not just like pure agoraphobia and laziness.
Of course.
It's also the job.
Yeah, we're not calling you lazy whatsoever. We know that you lift.
So no, I am. I
lazy.
for sure am. Don't let me off the hook. It's true.
No, I'm definitely not going to say that. But nonetheless, I agree that those guys did a great job. Everybody did a phenomenal job, including you guys. And it would be a great dynamic to see the swap happen between you two. But nonetheless,
I refuse.
You don't want to switch?
I like my slot. I like my slot.
I know that. I get that.
I'm not.
Everybody else does too. KM guesses the truth right now. Everybody has to see that come towards the end. But I'm going to ask you guys something interesting about the deck lists, right? So the submissions goes in. You guys get to see it the day before, right?
Go for
when
it.
the submissions end, right?
Yeah.
So
he's listening. He just has cats.
Yeah,
so,
I got it. What happens? What did you guys think going into the top 16? We're going to the top 16. When you guys saw all the decks that were there, did you guys have any idea or thought that the Spectrum Electra would even get to the championship match? Like, what were the decks that you guys were banking on?
Not that
I was
one.
banking on the one that got second place because that was one of my viewers who. I got a bunch of stories. The guy in second place, one of my viewers who got the video list from one of my videos, right? I asked him about this, and he was like, "Thanks for the KM boost." And I was like, "All right, I did it again, baby. I'm getting credit for stuff I didn't do. Let's go." And the guy that won, actually, Fox, was a longtime member of my Discord, but left the Discord. And I want to be super specific about why. Because people were complaining about Fantasticar pay to win too much. And I want to let me repeat that. Not that he left the Discord because he was mad at Fantasticar. Not that he left the Discord because he was mad about Kid Omega. But that he was so sick of hearing everyone else be mad about those things that he was like, I can't be in this space anymore. Which I think is the funniest possible thing for anyone to be. I have asked him to return to the Discord. He says maybe at some point in the future. For the record, he was right. We ended up having to make a sort of Snap economy channel just so that the main general channel wasn't constantly conversations about the Snap economy, which, let me say this. While plenty of people have very valid concerns about the Snap economy, when you run a Discord server, there is not a single Markov chain generated sentence you can give me that I haven't seen already. Like, you cannot tell me anything new about the Snap economy. It cannot happen. I have already seen it a million times. And I think that was largely why we had to do it. It's not because those conversations aren't important to have. It's because we have had them 500 times before. Right. And I think that, like, when you talk, like, it's one of those weird things where, like, you talk about the negative impacts of Kid Omega. That's not one of the ones people think about. Kid Omega was the flashpoint for this, though. And people think about all the negative things like, oh, I quit the game because of this. They don't think about, like, how it absolutely shits up community spaces with garbage for a month. And it's like, as someone who runs one of those community spaces, that's like a very, oh, well, I can't believe he's complaining about this, like focus on the real issues, KM, like the price of cards. And I get that. It's real. But it's so baked in as like a real thing that I don't think people get like a lot of what's made my job harder to do recently is that the environment in which I conduct it has become significantly more hostile, just generally to anyone who enjoys the game.
It's true.
No, I get that.
Second it.
So, guess what was the deck that you thought was going to go all the way and win it with?
You just left turned right back real aggressive into that too, and I appreciate that.
Look at this shill, just refusing
know
to talk about the problems of second dinner. Look at this absolute shill.
We're going to go down that path and not stop talking about it. So before we do, got to bustle you back into the text.
No, but for real though, on the deck side, then with everything that we saw, I all I wanted was for 34 card Monty not to win again. That's all I wanted going into it, because it would have been, you want to talk about one of the worst things that could have happened, it might have been that, because that deck, if it wins back-to-back tournaments with different operators showing that randomness is the only thing that's really dominant, even though an Airsham deck did make the top 8, but not 34 card Monty style, it was like, please don't let randomness win. That was the only thing I didn't want to win. Nothing against anybody who played Airsham there. I just think that would have been incredibly hazardous for the game, because everyone's like, all right, well, clearly that's the deck to win. That's it. Just get Airsham. Nobody knows what you're playing. One-sided information's the way to go.
Right.
And then we probably would have seen changes to Airsham. And that's what I'm curious about this next, not the OTA that happened today, but the next OTA. I'm curious if Golden Gauntlet information also affects again the next OTA, because that's what happened with GG2 is GG2 had low performers and showers get buffs, and then obviously strong cards that did well there were also strong on ladder, so it was a lot easier to figure out which ones most likely are going to get taken down a notch. But the underperformers got buffed up, so maybe something happens that way, that the public information's out there. It's been posted in the Discord. I haven't made an official post about it, but like, here are the cards that didn't get played. I mean, there's got to be some love that comes because of tournament metas. And I do ask that to KM too, though. Like, do you think tournament metas should affect ladder as much as they do?
No. I think that if Arishem had won the Golden Gauntlet twice in a row, but had a 48% win rate on ladder, which is basically what I assume he has, I don't give a shit. Like, I think it would be bad balance to then change Arishem. In fact, the real worry that I would want to express with 34 card Monty or whatever winning a tournament like this is that they would make a balance change to combat perception rather than to combat reality. And I think that's very bad balance. That is not a broken deck. It is literally fine. It is literally the most fine deck of all time. And
on ladder, I'll agree. But I do push back.
There is an upgrade that it gets, but it's still very fine. Like, it goes from not very good to you can win. Like, it goes from a deck that is probably not one of the 8 best decks in the game to the top 8. And that's fine, right? I think that there is this specific thing that happens where players focus on incredibly small sample sizes. I was talking about Ghost with somebody. And Ghost, spoilers for the OTA, got changed, right? But they mentioned that Ghost had the highest win rate in Golden Gauntlet 3. So I went and I checked the stat sheet. 3 people played Ghost. They played a total of 18 games, and they won 2/3 of them. 2 of those decks were Tech Slop and Supergiant that just had Ghost in them. And those were the ones that did almost all of the winning, and one of them was a slightly weirder thing. And it's like, that's not a meaningful sample size, nor can you... And you cannot take a single thing relating to Ghost's power away from Ghost had the second highest win rate of any card in the tournament. It's just not a reasonable conversation to have because of those sample size issues. And tournaments are by definition a smaller sample size than ladder is. They are worse data. They are not something that you should be balancing off of, especially when the field is as uneven as it is. Because if you start balancing off of tournaments, what's going to happen is you're going to nerf whatever random garbage butt decides to play. Because he's going to win with that anyway. You're going to nerf whatever garbage Derek decides to play. Because he's going to win with that anyway, because there's a discrepancy between the best players in this field and the ones who aren't. And it's not a coincidence that when we get down to the top 8, it's a bunch of people I mostly know. Like, these are people that I recognize. Yeah. And I think that, like, you can, like, there is a very good argument that Marvel Snap in the tournament level is extremely skill-based right now, just based on the purely insanely high number of people I know from ladder who keep doing well in these tournaments, right? Like, you could make a very good argument for that.
Fair.
Again, though, that would be pretty small sample size, and it wouldn't be anything I would regard as, like, proof. I think it's a noticeable trend, but I don't think you can say it for sure, because we're talking a pretty small sample size. Maybe it's large enough now to start making real determinations. But when you get into making balanced decisions based off of this, the thing I think they should specifically avoid is nerfing anything based on tournament results. The thing I think they should specifically keep doing is buffing things based on not being in the tournament decks.
Right.
Because that, I think, is actually very meaningful. You put people in a competitive environment, you look at the things they are all saying this is not competitive about. That is a very good way to look at buffs. It doesn't involve any sort of like aggregate win rate data. You have that from ladder as well. But you can look and say, literally nobody who wants to win thinks this is a good choice. So we can make it a little bit stronger. That's where I think Golden Gauntlet stuff should impact balance.
The only thing I think I push back on is the thing that neither of us play on. Because you and I have the same stance on Conquest, where we just don't believe in it.
Yes, it's not
right.
real.
But there is a large player base of Marvel Snap that does play it regularly. New players get introduced to it and they can get cosmetics from it, and there's a shop and there's a reason to play it. And I think it's very clear, and I think we're all in agreement that tournaments are obviously more related towards Conquest than they are towards ladder.
Yes.
Just structurally. So if you took the deck that won, the Spectrum Electra deck, into Conquest, you'll have a better percentage, a better experience with the deck, I think is a better way to word it, a better experience with the deck in that game mode versus in ladder. And as long as Conquest is still an everyday game mode, it's the only reason I could see them actually considering making nerfs based on tournament metas if they are repeat and consistent, which is one of the things, which is my Monday project, to go through is look at the GG2 data, look at GG3 data with 2 months in difference, and look for similarities and differences in tops and bottoms of metas, changes that have happened, didn't happen, etc., and just to kind of like present information out there to the world in a different way to say that, look, it happened after this one, they gave buffs to these. And I think literally I take credit for that personally, because I put out a tweet that had all the cards that were not played, and then every card who got buffed were all the cards that were on that specific list. And it was the only way that list was ever out there publicly. So it was like, I expect that kind of stuff to happen again. I agree that buffs should always happen. You know, it just buff up to make something better.
One thing you said there, that you will, if you take that winning deck, you will have a better time in Conquest than on ladder. I don't think that's actually guaranteed true. Like, I think that there are certainly decks that build towards the hidden information aspect of Conquest. You look at a lot of butt deck building and you see this. You look at RSM, you see this. There's not a hidden information aspect of that deck. Like, there is no actual reason why it would be better in Conquest than on ladder. There is none. It is a great deck on ladder. It is a great deck in Conquest. When I last checked, it had like a 60% win rate at top 10% infinite. Like, the deck's just good. And I think that there's this pervasive belief in the Marvel Snap community that I strongly suspect is driven by content creators and websites who want to make 2 separate tier lists because that's better, and like driven more by SEO than reality, of that is this ladder deck good in Conquest? The answer is always yes. If the deck is good on ladder, it's good in Conquest too. Don't even ask that question anymore. But because people want to do, because like, I don't know, Marvel Snap Zone or Snap Fan, they have to have a separate page for Conquest decks because people are going to Google that. Like that's how the internet works, is they have to have this page because you don't want to have no page for best decks in Conquest, right? And because this perception exists, that only reinforces that perception because people play to it, because that's what people want to see. But if there's not a card giving you an information advantage, no difference in Conquest whatsoever. And frankly, that difference only shows up when you and your opponents are playing at a high enough level that information advantage is actually relevant to the game. Probably also not relevant for a lot of people who play Conquest, right? Like this is a game mode that is so incredibly similar to normal Snap that while yes, there are differences around the margins, they are almost never enough to make a deck that is good in ladder, bad in Conquest in any meaningful way. Instead, what you see is an upgrade to decks that have hidden information at the highest levels of gameplay. But it's not like anything is getting worse necessarily. It's just certain strategies have a little bit higher equity.
So then let's talk about the reverse. In the Gauntlet, we've seen Mercury and Cannonball do some damage. Championship deck has that same combo in there. I'm saying
I hit rank 1 with that.
Yeah. So do we not sit back and think, they not get tweaked?
Oh, they should.
Based on the tournament. Okay, right. But is it based on the tournament data? Seeing in GG? No. So
it has nothing to do with tournament data.
No.
Yeah. That's what I'm
that I disagree with.
Like, those cards
it's
have been ridiculous for 2 months. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Those cards, like that's a dumb thing to have. Yeah,
that's not what tips it over the edge. That's just confirmation. Like, yep, we already knew that.
Yeah, we already know they were broken. Yeah, we might.
Yeah, like what? I think the thing is like, okay, if Invisible in First Steps won and Mercury Cannonball didn't, would we suddenly think that we don't need to nerf Mercury Cannonball?
Right.
Like, what are we doing here?
100%. Still needs to be nerfed. Well, not nerf. We're gonna say not touch. We're gonna say adjust.
I'm saying I'm saying nerfed. I don't like here's the thing.
Nerfed is the appropriate word here. Ken gets in trouble from the viewers when he says we need to touch cards. Yeah.
Cards used to get touched.
Bro, we gotta Ken, you gotta stop touching the cards. You gotta stop.
Yeah.
That's why Infinite won't get buffed. I get it.
I bring this up though, like specifically to say that like that's sort of the issue with drawing conclusions from small sample sizes, where like you flip one result. That final turn of that final game, if there was a Juggernaut or a Havoc instead of a Sunspot, the other player wins, right? The other deck wins. Cannonball Mercury, like that was the whole game. There were 2 cards in the deck of 3 cards that would have won that game on the other going the other way. Does that somehow mean that I just like that's the thing that gets me. Like people don't understand how small the margins on all of this stuff is over a small enough sample size, and it's like I feel like Cannonball Mercury would be nerfable regardless of the tournament environment. It would be nerfable. Like Fenris Wolf, Cannonball Mercury, pick 1 or 2 of 3, do something about it.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. So there was no surprise there. Okay. So, I mean, there was a surprise, but nonetheless, the 2 best decks made it to the top, and that makes sense. Great finish, great tournament. I'm excited to see what happens now that we have these meta changes, the OTA changes. I'm pumped to see what happens in the next tournament and what card lists take it where it needs to go. Do you guys feel the meta as of right now? I know it's still early. It's only been a couple hours since the changes happened. Do you guys think the meta is in a better place than it was last week?
I haven't played yet. This is a guess question.
As because I know we're gonna dive into the OTA, and KM, I know you're gonna go live, so I think the best way to word my last couple of hours of experience on ladder is that people are still trying, at least by the time people hear the podcast tomorrow, or in the morning, I should say, whenever, people are still trying to figure out, does Invisible Woman still work? Like, is the deck dead?
Yes.
And exactly. And that's what it is. Yes. It's how far down did it get dialed? And simultaneously, for those who are trying to counter the deck, is Ghost now the actual answer that you have to tech in as the card of the week, or is it now within range that you can do other things and it actually keeps up? That's where I think everyone's experimenting right now. And over my last couple of hours, I did not think that we were in a place where you have to play Ghost, because you can just literally play other non-interactive decks, and now you can actually go over the top of it. Now you can play that Tribunal deck. You can play that, move bounce deck. You can play the negative deck.
You can't play move bounce. Buddy.
Well, not old move bounce. You're right. You can change move bounce to work kind of, but negative you can go back to and play again, and you'll actually scale over the top of that giant havoc. That's what I started to notice right away. Like, the first thing I did was I started playing new move to see how it worked, and it actually did really well. Like, even with the new version of Vulture and Human Torch, I played it with Topaz and Fanfei, and I was climbing. Like, I was actually very impressed, because I'm not the best move player in the world by a long shot. I'm not the best player in the world by a long shot. So for me to have success on ladder with these new versions worked well. And I'm like, okay, that's refreshing. It's giving me optimism. But ask me again on Tuesday, how do I feel? Let us get through the weekend. Let us try all these decks again, see which ones are working and not working. How big of a deal is the Havoc change now, etc. We got to get through the weekend first. But initial thoughts are we can now keep up with the deck, but it is not dead.
No, I don't believe it will be dead. Now I think Cosmo probably gets added to that deck now.
I wanted to specifically highlight the move stuff here, because I think move bounce kind of eats it. But when you look at like the deck Sizer played, right?
Yeah.
You now have Doctor Strange and Topaz 2-4-3-5. You have maybe a Fanfei at 4-7. You have Hellion at 5-8. And those are your floors. Those are all cards that you play with massive upside.
Yep. And
that strikes me as a deck that's like, oh, that's actually kind of scary now. Like, there's just a lot of like, ooh, okay. I'm never not putting points on the board here. Like, there's just like, even my shittiest draws ever, I'm getting like 2 moves out of them and a bunch of decent bodies, and they don't know where any of that stuff is going to be. And it's like, oh, I mean, that's a really high floor for a deck that has a ceiling that high. I'm not going to say they buffed move, but they definitely gave it a different texture to me that, like, it strikes me as like a much more KMBest style deck right now than it has been previously. Like, it strikes me as like that's the kind of thing that I could be playing because the floor is so high on it. And it's definitely like I God forbid, I think they cooked on this OTA. I know you guys are about to jump into the OTA thing, but like people get very upset at one thing in every OTA, and it's there's a season pass card that was really good that got nerfed, or there's a card that was Series 5 that was really good that got nerfed. And it's really frustrating to me because for a month, all you hear is they need to nerf this card. And then they nerf the card, and it's suddenly, a crime against humanity that they nerfed the card that was broken. And I understand that Marvel Snap's economy is booty cheeks, right? It is set up to create situations like this for reasons that are probably related to like boardroom spreadsheet shit, right? I understand that. But it does sort of get me when people only look at things in that context and not like, was this the correct balance decision to make? Like, it would be so much worse if they were leaving these cards around because they were afraid you'd get mad at them because your pay-to-win card got nerfed, right? Yeah. Like, it would be a million times worse if they did anything other than just, we have to do the correct balance change here. And when you look at season passes, right, obviously their goal is to make appealing cards, and it is very clear to me, at least, that power is a part of appeal. You want a card to not just have a dream, but you want it to be a dream that can, like, survive for a couple weeks, right? I don't think they, like, explicitly make busted cards just so they can nerf them a month out. that seems really dumb. And also they keep making like kind of bad cards too and having to buff them up. You look at like Galactus First Steps, you look at Esme Kaku, you look at the original version of Captain Carter. Like, these are cards that are not good at being cards. When you really get into it, I think there are 2 season passes that everyone has been happy with. They are Agamotto and Kate Bishop. Those are the 2 that I think hit the exact right point of this is powerful and extremely good, but it doesn't have to get nerfed in the future. And I realize it's sort of dog shit feedback to the dev team to be like, just do that every time. Because I'm assuming they know that. And like, it's probably pretty hard to do.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like, I don't think there's a solution to this card released too weak, ergo I'm mad about it. This card released too strong, ergo I'm mad about it. That's just gonna happen. And so you just have to live in a world where it's like, this is a living card game. A card game that is constantly in dialogue with itself and the metagame. And I think that's sort of ultimately what's frustrating about Marvel Snap's economy, is that it is a living card game with a dead monetization system that is static and does not change based on that dialogue. When something in Hearthstone gets nerfed, you get a chance at a refund. If Marvel Snap had that, I feel like nobody would be mad about this stuff. And it is awkward to me as someone who tries to analyze this stuff in a balance. Like, I've made no secret of the fact that like I want to do Glenn Jones's job. I would love to do that. But in order to do that, I have to analyze things in a balance context, and I can't frame everything around balance if all we're going to talk about is how it interacts with the economy. Because, like, I don't know, man. Like, I just think that that's an economy problem, not a balance one. And it is sort of weird when, like, so much of it is that kind of Mr. Fantastic stuff where it's like, yeah, he was too strong, and now he's gotten hit with a hammer in the face. What did you want them to do? Leave him too strong just because you bought him? Like, what is that actually what you wanted? Like, I don't know. I don't think that's what you actually wanted, because then your opponents would also have him. I think that's one of these things that really, like, people miss about these strong cards is like, I would love to have this card for a while longer. I don't want to play against that piece of shit. I don't want to make people experience that anymore.
No, I totally agree. And that's what people should think about this game, as a living game, as a weekly update game, right? These cards need to get changed regardless if it's for good or bad. It has to get changed. And people need to
be clear,
that.
The economy does suck. Like
well,
this is
that.
Yeah, I'm not just saying this to say like, oh, it's not a problem that they do this. I'm just saying that like it's sort of independent of balance. The problem is irrelevant to the balance. It like their economy has basically put them in a situation where this can never not happen. This is always going to happen.
Until they make some changes to the economy or they figure out how, right? I think that's where we're at currently. And it sucks because, you know, people get upset, they leave. We don't want that for the game. So we'll see what happens in the future. But nonetheless, KM, I know it's your time. Is there anything you want to say before you head out?
We agreed on 30 minutes and I talked for an extra 40. So
I knew it was the 30. I apologize.
My
I
bad.
thought it was an hour. So I was like,
it's not a problem. Not a problem. I feel bad more than anything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I still haven't even brewed my pre-stream tea, so like I've got a bunch of like stuff to do. So I won't be live for like another hour or something like that. I gotta go do that because my teacup is actually too good at keeping it hot, so I have to like specifically wait at a period of time for it to cool down enough to be drinkable. I've gone entire streams where my tea was too hot to be drinkable because of how good this thing was at keeping it hot. It's
wow.
It's a good problem though.
Yeah, I'm sorry for all the yapping. I woke up and this is what I mean. When you ask like, how do I get ready? I woke up right before this podcast, straight into yap mode. It's what I do.
You could stay if you want. We can talk about everything that we want to talk about.
Go for it.
I wouldn't be respectful of your time.
I will. I've got probably. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go put the kettle on, and I'll be right back. I'll keep my headphones on.
Cool.
Right, perfect.
Sure.
All right. While he does that, we're going to go ahead and dive into the OTAs, okay? So when he gets back, he already spoke about a little bit of it. Guess what? You ready to talk about some OTAs?
Yeah, man. Bring it on.
All right, so we got the balance patches. I'm going to go ahead and share it on the screen so you guys can see along with us and you're not just sitting back relaxing. And our Spotify members, don't you worry. This will be uploaded the same time the YouTube one is, okay? All right, I know we had that mishap. Yeah, we did have that problem, so I apologize. All right, so kicking things off with our wonderful OTA, the first card, as KM just mentioned, is Mr. Fantastic First Steps. This card was a 2/2, end of turn. Give your card in your hand -1 cost or +2 power. This card was powerful as a 2-cost card, helping you win games super early. And now it is a 3/4. So they gave it some power. They also gave it a higher cost. To me, I think it's well deserved. This card is not destroyed or nerfed to lead a status. However, it did get adjusted as it should. Guess, how do you feel about this change to Mr. Fantastic?
I am shocked they did this change as early as they did. I was expecting, with especially season, mainly because it's a season pass, right. I was expecting the card to get adjusted in some way, shape, or form eventually. But yeah, like give it 2 months for it to do its thing, you know, in its release state. You know, for example, a lot of people just spent 5,000 tokens because it just dropped into the seasonal packs and they just got the 2/2 version and boom, now they got the 3/4 version. That's a feel bad moment. 100% that feels bad.
Yep.
So, you know, every OTA I try to put out my own little wants, needs, and predictions list. And this one came up from a bunch of people. I'm like, no, they're not going to adjust it. It's too soon. It's just, and the same thing with Invisible Woman. It's too soon. There's no way that they adjust any of the new Fantastic Four cards that just came out right away. There's no way. The fact they did shows how strong they know this card was. And I'm happy with the way that they did the change to 3/4 because, and I'm going to use this as your segue as well, because they also adjusted Surge, right?
Yes.
By making Surge lose power and have it go down to a 2/1. And now have Mr. Fantastic First Steps brought up to a 3/4, it more clearly defines the roles of what the cards are meant to be in each deck, because it was also something that you just, you know, I need to throw extra cards in. You almost always want to go, all right, which one of these makes more sense? And then, I don't know, throw in both? Sure. And some of the best decks just had both thrown in there, and whichever one you want to drop at turn 2, or you happen to have at turn 2, just drop it down, and then you're already off to the races. Now it's a whole different mindset, because Surge is the card you want to drop on turn 2, and Mr. Fantastic is the card you want to drop on turn 3. That changes the strategy for that card entirely. Just by one turn, because it was a perk if you got it down on turn 2 as a 2-cost card, and on turn 3 it's like, all right, sure, at least I got some really good value out of it, especially if I also put down a 1-drop on top of it. Now as a 3/4, you really have to invest into the strategy of what that card is going to want to do. You know, you want to play that, for example, in a Surfer deck, because it's a 3-cost card, and your brain says, okay, it's going to be beneficial. It's going to start buffing up, you know, the Sebastian Broods. Shaw in my hand, or the Broods in my hand, or reduce a cost so I don't have to play. You know, any reason to not play Sarah in a Surfer deck always is a good thing. So, okay, throw this in there too. You know, it's an option if you don't have Luna Snow. Great, you can throw that in there. Or instead of Hope Summers, you can throw that in there. Like, this is what that card is now creating for a lot of people, because they see 3 costs, they think Surfer. But even if it's not on the Surfer deck, you look at any other home that this wants to fill, and now it's in competition. It's in competition with Negasonic Teenage Warhead, with Juggernaut, with tech cards like Cosmo. Like, you're now trying to think 3 costs to invest into this that needs to drop on turn 3. The whole strategy of that card is completely different. So it's an earned nerf. I'm just very surprised they did it when they did.
Right. We did expect to be next month at least. Give it the month's time, because the card just came out as the battle pass. But nonetheless, I agree with you. Surge also getting changed really helps out there, you know, making her 2/1. I think she deserved that. But KM, you're back. How do you feel about the changes to Mr. Fantastic and Surge?
Like, I guess my thing is, what is the appropriate amount of time for them to let this card exist? You know what I mean? Like, what is the appropriate amount of time for them to be like, our bad, this guy is too strong, right? And I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, let it exist, 2 months or whatever, right? Or 3 months or whatever. And it's like, if you can clearly identify it as an outlier, isn't the correct time to change that card to... Isn't the right thing to do just to do that later? Like here's what gets me is people think it's like a money-making thing. Oh, we're going to sell the season pass and then we're going to rug pull the season pass players. No, that's terrible money-making.
Yeah.
That's the shittiest money-making. Like what you want to do is sell a season pass that is good enough they have to buy it, but not good enough that you have to nerf it. Like that is because what happens is people look at it only as the season pass, right? But it's like, what is Mr. Fantastic actually doing? He's making a bunch of other cool cards look totally fucking unplayable. Like, why would I play Frankie Ray when I could play Mr. Fantastic? You know what I mean? People think of this as like a zero-sum game. It goes the other way too. When they have all these strong cards, what it means is all their other cards look like shit. And I think they want to sell those too. And the idea that like they're doing this like, haha, we got your $10. Buddy, they would way rather have your 6,000 tokens than your $10. That's way more than $10. They would way rather have you like go out and get the other cards. And like people only think of it in the like level 1 terms, and level 2 is like, what are the things that this card is preventing from being real? And in Mr. Fantastic's case, it was a ton of shit because he lends himself so heavily to these like Juggernaut style decks that it's just like, if you're a big guy, like you look at Galactus First Steps, you look at why is Galactus First Steps bad? A lot of it is Mr. Fantastic related because people can just Mr. Fantastic, Surge, oh, here's a Juggernaut, here's another guy, nice one big guy, I don't give a shit, right? That kind of stuff is all tied up in how good a card like this is. And I think if you don't want to explicitly power creep your game forever, you have to be like... Because if you had to release cards to compete with Mr. Fantastic, I shudder to think what that would look like.
It looks like Invisible Woman.
Yeah, right? Yeah, facts. I mean, listen, I agree.
More of those.
For the record.
He's stronger.
Yeah, cumulatively.
It's just... she's a great card. I think it's awesome that they made a card that like created a new archetype. I think that's underratedly cool. I'm glad they did the ghost thing, which we're about to talk about. But he is significantly better as a card than she is.
Oh,
she's
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had this conversation before already. Yes, we agree.
Oh, yeah.
So, but now...
I mean, probably not anymore, but...
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
maybe. I mean,
he's
right.
good. He's still really good.
I don't know that he's actually really good. I think he might have gotten, I think he might have gotten pied in the face here.
Wow.
I think Fastos got pied in the face because now you never play Fastos.
Oh yeah, you never play Fastos
at
all. Never.
Right, but like who was like not to be glib, but like not a really popular choice, was it? Oh, we power crept Fastos.
Ooh. You changed my favorite card, Ghost.
You still not play. Yes. Speaking of which, Havoc. Havoc need to get adjusted because of that end of turn with Mrs. Invisible Woman First Steps, because being able to get this card to 8 power dropping on the final turn was madness. It was fun, but it was madness. And of course, if you added the wonderful Prodigy behind her, it was just bananas to see how big Havoc got. Now, this doesn't change that too much, just by the one difference to go to +3 power versus having the +4. Nonetheless, he is a 2/1 now. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this change, I think, is good, but I don't think it makes a big difference when it comes to Havoc. Havoc in the Invisible Woman First Steps deck is still going to pull up those huge powers, especially on that final end of turn if you have Prodigy sitting behind her. Nonetheless, Havoc getting this change or getting a stray bullet because of the end of turn madness, I think is well deserved. And I'm not mad at it because it wasn't too bad. It could have went ham and said, you know what, Havoc is now a 2/1 and he only gets +2 power. That would have been bananas. So him getting at least a +3, I think, is a good change for him. KM, how do you feel about this change to Havoc?
I will go to the mat for this one. Because there's another thing that comes up every OTA, which is I can't believe they nerfed card that existed already for the sins of new card. Right, that one comes up every single OTA, and I think a lot of the time, valid criticism. Right, like I can't believe they nerfed Sunspot for this. Like, what are we doing here? That one is a little like, okay, that's kind of ridiculous. With Havoc, I think it's like very clearly a case of like, okay, this is the card that scales the most with the doubling Invisible Woman thing. And they say in their notes that they are generally happy with the shape of it. They just think the numbers are a little bit dumb. And if that is how you think, the thing you do is you hit the nail that stands out. And the nail that stands out here is so incredibly obviously Havoc that it's actually kind of unbelievable. Like, okay, sure, you could Invisible Woman 3-4. I think they should still probably do that. I don't think that changes anything about the deck. Like, what are we talking about? Are we going to sit here and pretend like that matters? I'm not going to pretend like that matters. I'm not even sure this matters. And it's a way harsher nerf to the deck.
Yep.
They will all still be playing Havoc. It is a 213 instead of a 216. Oh, God help you. How could I survive? Like, this is still the best of the payoffs in the deck because it's also asking you to do the least. With Sunspot, you want to skip energy. With Thena, you want to play 2 cards. With Havoc, the only restriction on this guy is have the Invisible Woman stuff, which is the same restriction as everything else, and play him on the final turn of the game, which is the same restriction as basically everything else. It's like, what are we talking about here? This guy said +4. There's a thing that multiplies that by 4. It's way hard. It's way stupider to multiply a bigger number than it is to multiply a smaller number. He's still almost certainly incredibly elite in the deck. I will go to the mat for the Havoc change. I will not go to the mat for the Sunspot change because I think that one is like a little bit like that doesn't it doesn't do anything. Like it does absolutely nothing to the card, and B, there's no reason to hit him of all cards as opposed to like any other card in the deck. Basically, I will not go to the mat for Sunspot getting nerfed. I will go to the mat for Havoc getting nerfed. This guy said +4 on him. Don't put +4 on cards.
Totally
I get
agree.
it. I get it. Invisible Woman is what broke this card. I totally understand that.
Yes.
But you can, in order to address what is broken about this card with Invisible Woman, it is much harder to address the engine and much easier to address the outputs. Addressing the engine here would not mean 3-4ing Invisible Woman. It would mean like reworking how doubles work in this game. And until you're willing to do that, just hit the guy that says +4.
Yep. Yeah. There it is. Guess, how do you feel about it?
I mean, in that post I put out on Tuesday with my OTA's wants and predictions, this is exactly what I wrote for Havoc. 2-1, give it +3. And my justification then is the same as my explanation for now, because the decks that were playing Havoc before this, before Invisible Woman, you know, you see those like turn 5 Havoc, cheeky type extra Athena decks that were working. And that engine still does work whether you have Invisible Woman or not. Obviously, it's stronger with Invisible Woman, but even if you don't have it, that engine still works. This takes off 1 power off of that original engine, but 3 power off of the Invisible Woman engine, and 3 is a bigger number. That's fine. It's still a 2-7 in the other situation. A 2-13 is something you have to be able to now contest with. 2-16, I'm sorry, there's no way to justify a 2-16. That was that easy to do. It was just about, do you have it 75% of the time in your hand on any given game? And did you get down at least Invisible Woman out of the other 8 cards you drew? So your chance to do that combination was always at least a 2/3 chance on any given game to get the combination to happen and then drop the final card. So it was just too consistent to be as powerful as it was. So to take off 3 power, I agree with KM. It is more than justified. It is not at the sins of Invisible Woman First Steps. Will Invisible Woman First Steps get nerfed? Absolutely. I think she'll even get a 3/3, so that way she can be targeted by Lady Deathstrike, as well as easier target for Red Guardian. I think she gets 3/3 eventually, because then it's a full-on, look, there are multiple counters. I don't want to hear it anymore. If you run into it and it's meta, just play the counters. Right now, at 3/5, which I still can't believe they released her at that stat line, it is a little unnecessary. And knowing how the decks are being built, you can justify 2 power taken off of her in the future. Havoc absolutely deserved this exactly as is, and I'm glad I don't have to defend it anymore.
Yeah, I still think Havoc wouldn't have gotten adjusted if Invisible Woman did not exist.
That's
Agreed.
correct
been
for
around.
the record.
Definitely.
That's
Yes.
objectively
Okay,
correct.
good.
But it's like
Yes.
pretending like in order to like live in that. I don't know. It's sort of like saying, you know, America wouldn't have invaded Afghanistan if 9/11 didn't happen, right? It's like, that was pretty important to like why it happened. Like, it's like you can't just be like, oh well, you know, like I don't know. It's actually, we probably shouldn't talk about Afghanistan here. I have a like a special interest in like the Afghanistan conflict and the ways in which we got involved in it. But that beside the point. I feel like anyone who wants to nerf Invisible Woman instead, I need you to tell me something that isn't 3-4. Because if you just tell me they should have 3-4'd Invisible Woman instead of doing this to Havoc, I will tell you that is not enough, and they probably should have 3-4'd Invisible Woman and also done this to Havoc. Like, that is where I'm at on it. I see why they didn't because of the Ghost rework, but like, yeah.
And speaking of the Ghost rework, Ghost was a 3/5 ongoing. Your cards always revealed last. And up until last week, I was playing Ghost because of the madness happening with the Killmongers and the Shang-Chi's. I always want to be the last card to go so it could dodge those things. And then she gets a buff going to 3/4 and now being the on reveal card that removes the abilities from end of turn cards. I'm happy for this change. It needed to happen. We needed a counter for end of turn. I was saying this for a while because I'm like, wow, there's nothing that can stop this. And after watching Guest today get blown up by an Invisible Woman and Prodigy and the 2 Havocs, I was like, yeah, I cannot wait for the OTA because this is madness. Now, the change that happened, great. Is it going to be enough? We're going to find out in a week's time. I am happy to see this. I'm happy to see that hopefully Grandmaster can show its face and help put this in another lane and reproc again. I'm happy to see that end of turn finally gets a counter. Is it enough is the real question. And for me, I don't know. I think we need other cards that can still do some damage to end of turn cards. Maybe an ongoing, maybe something else. But for now, this is a great start. So I'm happy with the change. Guess how do you feel about Ghosts going to 3/4 and being on reveal to remove the abilities from all end of turn cards in that lane?
This seems like a 911 patch fix.
Break the glass? Yeah.
Yeah, this is a break the glass moment because they saw the community pushback, they saw the statistics, and simply said, look, we have our cards planned for the next X amount of weeks and months. We need to get something in here that can counter this new archetype outside of us, working on dials. And we gotta, what do we got in the bin here? Let's see. We got a Warpath. We got a Ghost. You want to do something with Ghost? All right, let's do something with Ghost. Sure. Because they just needed something that gets absolutely no love, no play. Right. It's not thematic in any way. They just took a card that nobody was playing and said, here, you've got investment into this card. You've probably collected this card. You've probably unlocked this card. Now you all have a counter. Your choice to play it or not. You have a tech option to play immediately to counter the current meta with. Have fun. And they needed to break the glass. I don't know if this was the way the cost and the on reveal and the way to necessarily do it, but they gave us something. And I've wanted a Ghost change of some kind for a long time as well, because for the same reasons, nobody was playing this card. And the 3 people who brought it to Golden Gauntlet, sorry, I second everything that KM said of just like, yeah, okay, that's not what made the card work or the deck work or have any wins. It was a Ghost. It was everything else. But the card needed love. And they just said, look, we have a need. You have a card you don't play. And now we have this new version that gets rid of the end of turn abilities because we never needed this up until Invisible Woman. We had end of turn cards. We never needed this until this moment. So they made it happen because of this moment. And there was a great conversation happening in my chat here at the same time. And it brought up a really good point about understanding the balance of, as the card game is evolving and they're unlocking more cards, why did Havoc die for the sins of Invisible Woman? and there's a great point here, and I'm going to call it out. That's like saying that Affliction existed before Ajax.
Hold on. Are we live on your Twitch channel right now?
Yes.
I did not know that this entire time.
Surprise. Sometimes we are for when we record, sometimes we're not.
I had no idea.
Surprise.
Someone just added me like, KM just brought up Afghanistan. I was like, how did you know?
Wow.
Surprise. Yes. No. So yes. Wow. But it did happen in my chat, and it was a great point where certain things have to change in the game as cards get released. Ajax came out, and yes, there was Hazmat Luke Cage shenanigans, and we started getting little pieces and a Diamondback here and a Laufey. You know, we started building into what is now an Affliction deck and an archetype that is actually a true thing you have to be ready to counter in some way, shape, or form. Same exact thing happened with End of Turn, and now we have a card in Ghost that is meant specifically to counter it. Just like how Luke Cage is meant to counter Affliction, Ghost for one lane, Ghost is here to at least help that one lane, because typically that deck only needs to have one lane blocked to be truly canceled.
So, I agree. Was there any other card you both feel could have been the catalyst to change to this on reveal, remove all abilities from end of turn cards, or did it have to be Ghost?
I gotta tell you, I think it had to be Ghost, and I'll tell you why.
Okay, let's hear it.
Shoot.
I think it's awesome that she's a tech card now. Get it?
That's fair. Yes.
Get it?
Tech. She is tech.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
I think it had to be Ghost.
that.
I think that is the perfect outcome for a card like this, especially because it was a card that was so superseded in her role by Invisible Woman, the original one, I should say. It is interesting how weirdly Ghost has been defined by her relationships with multiple Invisible Women in this game. Odd situation. Probably relatable to everyone who I just learned was watching this live. How are your relationships with the Invisible Women in your life? I will say, I think that this is a good change, but it is a very down change. Like, all right, just stop yelling at us. Here's a tech card. Go get it. I don't even think this card is that good. Like, I think it's very much just like, get off my dick. Like, here's a fucking tech card. Go get it. Like, it's not. It doesn't strike me as like a change that was like particularly like, this is our very well thought out plan. It was very much just like, well, people keep asking for this, so might as well.
Let's make it happen.
Yep.
That's fair. Good point. I do like that. She's a tech card. I totally get that. Then we move on to some move cards, which I felt didn't really need the change, but it got the change. We had Vulture go from a 3/3 that got +6 power to now a 1/2 get +3 power. Then we have
cards
Human
got
Torch.
touched, Ken.
Yes.
Yeah,
These cards got touched.
Plucked. They were fucking plucked.
I still don't get this, but he goes from a 1/2 to a 3/3. And I get it. We can still get them to big numbers, still double them up. But why did they get touched? Neither of these cards need to be touched. They were doing perfectly fine in the meta that they were
I'll tell
in.
you why.
But yes, this is why this goes up
I'll
next.
tell you
so
why.
Please, KM, let's hear it.
Because it's fundamentally dumb as shit for the cheapest card in the move archetype to have the strongest scaling. That's so stupid. Like, if you just zoom out of, like, this is how it's always been, which of these texts should be on the 1/2 and which of these texts should be on the 3/3? And it's, like, very clearly the way they changed it to be. Like, just ignore all the, like, whoa, well, it's always been like this. Right. One of these texts is stronger than the other, and also more exciting when you can put a bigger number on it that is gated by the cost. Fundamentally. One of the things that really sucks about move bounce is how much power they're able to keep in their hand for free with a beast on 5. This is now a meaningful change there, right? One of the things that sucks about playing against those decks is that interaction specifically. But I think just fundamentally, if you zoom out, what happens here is they're correcting a mistake that Ben Brode made 3-4 years ago When he originally made these cards and was like, Human Torch will double, he'll be a 1/2. And I imagine him talking in a mid-Atlantic accent because to me that's like, he's very old, Human Torch, it'll be a 1/2. It'll be the rage of the new era. And Vulture will be a 3/3, and we'll be playing him in Heimdall. Move. And that's the world that he designed for. A lot of what you'll notice about like old designs is they're very pie in the sky and there's no thought paid to balance whatsoever. And this is one of those situations where it's like they are clearly constrained by the fact that the cheapest one of these is the one that says double on it. Every single time they make a move card, it's like, all right, fucking Human Torch again. We saw Taskmaster get pre-nerfed because of this crap. That is almost exactly due to Human Torch. What's the card they're playing alongside Taskmaster, dude? If it costs 5, what's the card they're playing alongside Taskmaster? It's a 48 power Human Torch. Like the fact that that guy was at the cost that he was at, that's why this is happening. Like I get it, and my heart goes out to Sizer. Truly.
Yeah, he's with that.
Like low key, this is the kind of thing that like gives me hope for the game. Is that they're willing to challenge these heuristics of this is how it's always been and say, this is how it's supposed to be. We need to be real about this and stop letting these cards that currently exist constantly prevent us from giving cool tools to this deck.
Agreed. Now we should revert back Taskmaster. Totally agree with that too. Guess how you feel about these changes between Vulture and Human Torch?
I think that these changes specifically because I played Move immediately right after the OTA. It was the first thing I wanted to mess with. The initial feeling I got is we need to completely reconsider Move now because of these two changes. It is no longer about get the Human Torch as high as you possibly can and then just win another lane in any other way. It's now get your movers. Basically, you want them all to move twice. Build yourself a situation where you can get moves to happen twice. And it brought me back to actually Golden Gauntlet, where Lauren Whatevs brought in a Fanfare move deck and we showed it on the stream. And I remembered her playing that deck going, wow, there's some really cheeky things here, but there's not a lot of moves. It's just like a 2-move thing and that's it. And if you look at the new versions of these cards, you get Vulture to a 1/8. And you can get Human Torch to a 3/12. We should not sleep on how easy that is to do and how it can be done with the pieces that already exist in the game. It's not just Heimdall. Heimdall is a great option, don't get me wrong, but one of the benefits of Heimdall is when you don't also have Heimdall, is you're always scared of Heimdall. Is it going to Heimdall or not? It's that psychology play. And with the existence of Cloak and Hellion giving you other options to move on the final turn, Madam Web as well giving you that option to move on the final turn, you're constantly having that psych out with your opponent. And if we reapproach Move now with Human Torch and Vulture just saying, look, I just want to get all my scalers to move twice. Now you've actually got a very difficult deck to combat against because of the undetermined power and power that for every card at its value is incredibly scaled upward. It's more than exceeding the value of what the card normally is. Think of how often, like Tech, you play Sage all the time. How consistently do you get Sage at 3/12?
All the time.
Thanks for making my point harder.
Yeah,
It's
he
not as
was
easy as you
aiming for a
think.
different answer, dude. He wanted you to
I'm
say
just
never.
saying.
He wanted you to say it never happened.
Because you and I damn well know. You play it on final turn, you get her to 310, because 312 means you got 6 different cards, which means only 2 are duplicating. You know it, I know it, the community knows it. You're lying through your beautiful teeth. No, nice try.
You know why I'm thinking about that? Because I always play her with Wong. So
I love that he's just like, it happens
all
all the time. They say all the greats have short-term memories.
Because I'm thinking about
like he just only remembers the good ones. He's just like, how often does that happen?
Yeah.
100% of the time. I had never played a fucking 3/8 Sage in my life.
It's like kids.
What kind of idiot are you?
It's like kids. You only remember the good stuff from way back in the day. You forget all the bad times that you got your 3-2, 3-4 up against 3-2 against Cerebro. You know, like it's a great card. Like, but for real though, like it's a 3/12. Human Torch now is very easy to move with cards like Zorn, Topaz, Fanfei, Heimdall, etc., and the list goes on and on. And they're
Right.
flexible, and there's lots of things that we can do from that. So this is probably the archetype that I'm going to want to invest the most time into right now because of these changes, because I think it actually makes move easier for the general public rather than move bounce, which was basically reserved for being successful for the top 10%. I shouldn't say reserved, but it was most consistently
Mostly
successful
utilized.
with a much larger win rate and a much larger cube rate at the top end of there. But now it's kind of been dumbed down with these moves, in my opinion, where I think more people are going to be able to do it because they're less worried about both moving and bouncing. It'll just change the strategy of
Just strictly
get it
moving.
to move twice. Just get it to move twice. That's all you want to do with almost every card now. Just get it to move twice.
Not to get conspiracy brain, but if you looked at the data mines for the season pass card coming up,
I don't
not
think
yet.
that's a reason because because of the way that card's built. I don't think it's because of these cards. That
I think like if they made that card, if they made that
sorry.
Sparky card with what Human Torch used to have on him,
Yeah.
I would like quit the game. if they made a card that was like move this card and give it +2 power, I'd be like, are you guys insane? I've kind of been thinking that about that card the whole time. So what I will say is if that's not on purpose, they kept me around by doing this because it means that the move deck, and I think this is really, really crucial. What's so obnoxious about move bounce and Hela and all these decks that I always rail about is that they do everything they can to make interacting with them impossible by manipulating priority.
Yep.
And that is sucky. It turns the game into numbers. This game is already war at 3 locations. It's sucky when it gets dumbed down even more. The same reason that OG Galactus was really annoying. Do you have it or do you not? Regardless of the power of these decks, there's always going to be an issue that I have with stuff like that doesn't have clear counters. What I like about pushing it more towards a Heimdall style of deck is that it maintains the unpredictability, but it's not all in your hand. There are things on the board and it feels earned. You are doing things with like the board state matters to your final turn in a way that it just does not with the decks that I find particularly offensive.
Nope, that's a fair point. And I totally agree. So I'm happy for this change. And Topaz and Doctor Strange also is part of that move package that now got some buffs. So I'm happy for both of these as well. Doctor Strange being a 2/4 is great. And then Topaz being a 3/5. I mean, like you mentioned before, putting these cards on the board and getting that power is going to be huge in the move deck. So the changes that happened to both Vulture and Human Torch is warranted. And now having these additional move cards that can do all these cool things with the additional power, I think is huge for any move player or people who want to get into move, as you guys mentioned. So Topaz,
Wait,
Dr.
hang on.
Go ahead.
Hang on. I'm just going to leave it at this point. If I told you that you could build a deck that had in it a 1/5, a 2/4, a 3/6, and a 3/5, you would say, okay, those are good stats, right?
Yeah.
Just as is, good stats without even trying.
Correct. Without been trying to move them. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. That's Topaz, Doctor Strange, 1 movement of Vulture, and 1 movement of Human Torch. Where you
What if I
literally
told
just
you
like
that you could build a deck with a 3/5, a 3/4, a 2/13, a 2/12, and a 1/9.
1
If I told you
bajillion.
that? What if I told you that?
Yeah.
I'd tell you know what I'd say? We need Ghost.
I gotta tell you, I don't think she's actually good. Like, I feel like, and like I said, when I said it's like a here damn card, it's like I don't think she's doing a lot. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
But I agree.
I've
I
played
agree with
0
you. It's a
games.
we need something. Here, go. Take this.
Yeah,
Make it
yeah.
happen.
Break the glass. Now, the next change, I am not. I'm upset about. Very upset. And I know you guys are like, why are you upset that White Tiger got an additional power for the Tiger that got spit out from the White Tiger? And I'm mad because they took a power from Sunspot and did not think to give that power to the Infinite. And now we're seeing
damn it,
older
dude.
cards still getting additional power because they need
Really?
it. These cards need it. The older cards need the additional power. Why is the Infinite still being slighted and being
That's a great
dodged?
point, Ken. I think you
Yeah,
should
come
do
on.
a solid 10 minutes on that.
Yes, I should. Thank you, KM. I totally agree.
Yeah, I fully support you.
You're gonna
I
take a
cede my
Sunspot
time.
power That's right. Put it to
There.
the infinite. Okay, you're gonna give White Tiger additional power. What about
KM, it's been great having you here. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. Where's the end button here? Do I have that privilege? No.
And then Tarix. I'm happy you got a change. It just came out, so I'm happy for it.
Dark
How do
side.
you guys feel about these changes?
This guy actually kind of like. Do people not understand? Like, I realize he's only a Darkhawk card, but like, people are like, I see people talking like, oh man, I can't believe we're power creeping Fastos, right? Rockslide is crying in the corner on a cuck chair, dude. Like, Rockslide has been so unbelievably shafted by the way this has gone down. I just don't understand. Like, to make this card in the first place, it was already making Rockslide look like shit. Then to buff it to be a 3/4 compared to Rockslide's 4/5 with more rocks available to it. What? I thought they hated Darkhawk. When did they decide that this was an okay deck to exist? They every time it's good, they just like hit it with a hammer really, really hard. Why are they doing this?
Listen, they want to give people things to play with. That's the only thing I can think about, because you're right. Why would you play Rockslide anymore, to be honest?
You don't. You just don't. There's no reason to play Rockslide anymore. I said it when we were reading through it earlier when they announced it. I think that this might be a slept-on change, because getting Terrax to actually do what you want it to do on turn 3 is so powerful. To screw your opponent that badly with 3 rocks, it can be done. You can absolutely do that with this deck now. And that's why I really want to mess with the package of how we build these Terrax decks, where it is a priority push deck. It is about get the big power down early on turns 1 and 2, so that way you can secure priority going into turn 3, flip that, because as soon as it flips, it counts. So as long as you have priority going into turn 3, you're putting 3 rocks into a 6-card deck. That means they have a 1 in 3 chance from there on out every time to draw those rocks. It's like Subterranea every game with Terrax on 3. And that can't be slept on, because that as a tech card in and of itself is good, yet alone in a Darkhawk package, where then later you can confidently play your Cassandra Nova and your Darkhawk and make the rest of that, all those shenanigans work. I think there's a lot to be tested with the Terrax Darkhawk package that people have not done yet. I think that this goes into a variety of different builds. I can foresee move packages that have the Miles Morales and the Black Bolt stature combos coming back again. Like, this is the shell that I think that we start from, and then build into new versions that work in today's meta, because messing with your deck that much should not be ignored.
Miles Morales, Black Bolt, and Stature. I'm from 2023. This is how we talked in 2023.
It's true, though.
I don't think it's going to do that. I'll say that much.
I think that in the Darkhawk package, there is that package with something modern day, then fine. Take me back to the Husky
it's Hood
times.
Misery. It's Hood Misery, and it's Merlin Werewolf. Be real. We don't.
Yeah.
Oh, Black
Mark
Bolt
Ball.
Stature. Not happening anymore. Put some good cards in there, okay?
I still want Black Bolt Stature to get their power back. Do they get their power back soon?
I
Both of
kind of
them?
think that they can, but I also don't know why you ever would do it, right? Like,
Because
what,
they can.
you want
There's no
people
need.
to be playing that more?
Right.
Like,
There's
you
no need.
want to be playing against more Black Bolt? I just, like, it's like there are these changes like Black Widow, Black Bolt Stature, where it's just like, you could make these cards stronger, but, like, do you want to? Is that good? Is that a smart decision for the health of the game? And it's like,
cards are still good, so it's like, why?
Right. Like, if they wanted, they could make Black Bolt with the best 5-drop in the game. But that would just be a pretty simple numbers change for them to do. I just don't think they want to do that, because it sucks to play against that. But also, it should not be, like, overlooked just how heinously Hood Misery takes a shit on Black Bolt Stature.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll agree with that there. It's true, though.
Sure
Buffing
does.
Misery to 9 is perhaps the most inexplicable change they've ever made in an OTA to me.
Agreed. And speaking of cards that suck, that we got to talk about, let's go ahead and dive into this week's newest card, and that's Frankie Ray Nova. I was big on this card. Okay,
I know you were.
Be great because I thought, and I did not read properly, that this card would double every time you play a 6 cost. So, Infinite She-Hulk, final turn, dropping the She-Hulk and Infinite, getting this card to double. If you just get this card to get buffed one time, whether it be with Nakia on 3 or Okoye on 2 or even American Chavez on 1, I figured this would be a great 12 cost card in one lane. You got Infinite, you put She-Hulk with her, and you got Infinite in another lane. Nope, this card only doubles after you play 1 6 cost card. I've only got her to 50, and that's with playing her in a Nomura deck or playing her in a negative Wong Ironheart deck. It's too much work to get this card to be good, and for me, I'm putting this card at a silver. That's how I feel about it. I think it's there. It's a silver. That's it. I'm not really feeling it. We'll see what new cards come out, how it can help this card out. But for right now, I think, you know what? It's a good card for the Nomura decks and those decks that weren't getting love right now. So Nomura, you have a partner now in Frankie Ray. Hope you enjoy it. I'm surprised this card does not work with Zola. So yeah, definitely a silver for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
To give point of reference for KM with the scaling and all this too, like
Yes.
our system here is based on metals and plastic. So the bottom of the barrel is plastic rating, and then it goes up from there, silver, gold, and then we go platinum, diamond. So like best card of the month is diamond. So it's like credit cards, go from there. I think that I agree. This is like a straight up silver card.
Not
it
credit
is
cards, music, but okay.
I go by credit cards because I think that way too.
Okay,
I think that this is just an absolute piece of crap. I think that you can get it to 2/6 easily, and that always feels good. But the second you start to want to build into this card, you're taking away from so much of anything else. Like, it's a perk if it gets extra power and then gets to 2/8. And I tried, Okoye builds and Nakia builds and Gwenpools and just finding other ways to get power on there and Forge. And, even if it's just like sprinkle power on, it just never felt like a card that I needed in any of the decks that I put it into, including I was playing your deck, the Heralds of Galactus deck. And that was the only one that did okay. Yeah. But it wasn't because of Frankie Ray. It was because it was playing She-Hulk and Infinite on the final turn together. Like that was holding up.
Yeah.
Right. Like that kind of stuff was doing fine. But Frankie Ray was not what was winning that deck. And honestly, you could probably do it better with Surtur or any other card, to be honest. I agree with you. I think this is a silver rating. It's just kind of poo-poo caca. And if you get it, woohoo, great, have fun. And then just let it collect dust.
Yeah.
To quote the legendary Joe Budden, hear me good. I'm here to double down. Frankie Ray, that shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
Yeah.
Plastic. This shit is
Double
going
plastic,
triple into the garbage can in my garage. This shit is going triple plastic, brother. There is absolutely no way is it going to lose you games? No. Should you ever go out and buy this? No. And there is like one of the things that I view as something akin to my job is to make sure that FOMO doesn't get too insane. Because I think a lot of creators will approach this as like, all right, I would like to find an even-handed way to talk about this. This card can be good in certain contexts. Present the things that this card can do well. And I think that's a reasonable way to approach it. But I also think that if you don't just say, like, don't buy this crap, like, if you care about winning, this is not a good investment. I think that's really what I'm trying to say. It's not like, don't buy this crap. Like, you're not like a worse person for enjoying what she does. But if your goal is to optimize your win rate, this is not a card that is worth picking up at the price tag that it's at. And I think that, like, that is something that probably should be said explicitly more, in my view, where it's nice that this card is not like the world's most unplayable piece of crap to ever release. Like, I think that's cool. But like, then you get into these spaces like with Human Torch First Steps was this massively hyped card But really, when you zoom out, he's totally fine. He was like card 13 in Surfer decks, right? And I admittedly, I'm taking a bit of a victory lap on this because that's what I said day one. Is like, people are way too high on this guy. But if you only focus on the good stuff about these cards, you're going to end up... I don't want to ever be responsible for someone FOMOing in if I don't really believe it. And so if I don't come out there and I say, Frankie Ray, this card is not worth the tokens that they're asking for it. At some point, it could be in the future, but right now, there is just no way that it's worth it. If I'm wrong about that, that's a fixable thing. They can go out and get that card later. If I hype someone into getting a card, they can't get that refund. And so I feel like I have to go the other way. Plastic.
Not with you. Yeah, listen.
Put this shit in one of those triple bagged black garbage bags so I don't have to smell it anymore.
Frankie.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. Nah, listen, you're right. You're not wrong at all. Nobody should get this card. We're not saying to get it, but yeah, don't get this card. Don't even bother. On to the next card. The
For next
Fallen
week.
one. This card comes out, this card comes out upcoming Tuesday, and it is a 5/5. On reveal, set your max energy equal to this card's power. So being able to get extra energy, not worry about the Mobius giving you problems, and having a ball playing this card and dropping all the havocs in the world that you want to do. Because this just dropping itself down on turn 5 and giving you additional 5 power is bananas to me.
Oh, no.
That's not what it does.
Wrong.
Yeah.
That's not what it does.
No. Yeah, okay.
Read it.
Set
Read it again.
Okay.
Read it again.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So set them. Okay. All right. So, okay. Understood. So we need to
In a
buff
world
this
where that is
card.
what it does, you would be correct, though.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yes, correct. So, okay. All right. See, this is how I messed up with Frankie Ray last week. So,
Yes.
okay, fair enough. So we get this card to a 6 power card. I mean, 6 power, and we drop it on turn 6. You will get your normal 6 power for the next turn, or 6 energy for the next
What
turn.
are you talking about?
This is what
Am I
happened.
really
So
not
I
wrong?
got this. No, it's okay.
Wait. You said equals to the card power. So we make this, if this card becomes a 5,
Yeah, but why
Hold on.
would you need energy if it's turn 6?
No, I'm saying you drop it on turn 5. That means you're 6.
But you
That's
said
not what you
6.
said.
6 and
Exactly.
Did I say
Yeah.
that? What did I say?
No.
I said on turn 6?
You
I
said 6.
apologize. I'm saying
It's
if you
okay.
play this on turn 5 and this is a 5/6, that means you get your normal 6 energy on turn 6.
It actually means you get 7. Because the way this card
Why?
works is it sets it on its on reveal. It's not like you're not gaining the energy.
Right.
So if you play this at a 5/6, you're going into turn 6 with 7 energy.
Correct.
6 plus 1. If you play this at a 5/7, you're going into turn 6 with 8 energy. 7 plus
Correct.
1.
Understood now. Okay, now I understand it.
That's why
Fair
you can
enough.
play it on 5 and it's not
yeah.
a downslide.
I
Yeah,
got
it's
you
not.
now.
It's never unless your opponent is playing
what I
like, you
thought.
know, Scorpion Cassandra Nova, which
Yeah.
very funny.
Yes, that
Actually,
would be
here's a
messed
question.
up.
I think
That would be-
ongoings work on this, right? So if like your opponent predicts the lane that this goes in with like a U.S. agent, you just lose the game instantly.
Don't worry, I'll have a havoc. Yeah. It's true though. No, it's you're not wrong there on having counters for this card in this. We were going to see a lot of affliction next week, hands down, because
Yeah.
people are going to try to hit this card because people are going to get the new card and then you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah,
So the
Cassandra
ongoings
Nova's
are going to hit it. Yeah, you're going to have to be prepared to have your Luke Cage, and this is, you know, maybe there is a way to make some unique extra package of this happen, but I think that Ramp, like Blink decks love this card. I think Symbiote Spider-Man and Shuri decks love this card. And that's it. Like,
I've got a proposal for you.
sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Captain Carter, this is 7. Galacta, this is 9. That seems like pretty doable
Yeah.
to me. Captain Carter, Galacta,
Yeah.
Gwenpool. Just
Yeah.
that's the package that goes around this. And you just like every so often just free roll, you know, a billion energy. You have the ability to just jam a Symbiote Spider-Man in whatever deck that is playing this, right? Like you can do
Yeah.
things like Symbiote Spider-Man the Fallen One, and then on turn 6, Hobgoblin Galactus. Or like just generally moronic things of that nature that Symbiote Spider-Man is already in those decks anyway, right? I think
Right.
this is the best card of the month.
I agree with you. I agree.
Like, this is
yeah.
a card that scares the living shit out of me.
It is going to be the
diamond.
best card of the month, but it's not going to go into every single deck. Like, this isn't where Mr. Fantastic First Steps was, where you could just literally plop it in.
Right.
This, I think you do have to build around a little bit. So it is, that's why, like, that kind of Mr. Fantastic's First Steps original release, that's a diamond card to me. That's a literally throw this into any card, any deck, any style, doesn't matter, it works. Fallen One is a platinum. It is a strong card. You don't need to do a lot to build around it, but you, even for the ones that even I listed, not even thinking of that kind of a build up, even just those packages, it's really good. And that's going to be relevant.
I think that it is possible this card ends up coming in lower than I think, because I'm still thinking of it in a world where Mr. Fantastic and Surge didn't get absolutely clapped today. Right? And those would have been really good cards for this guy. Like, Surge especially is like, oh, you Surge into this card, it's a 4/6. That's basically Wiccan. 7 on 5, 8 on 6, right? But just from surging into this.
Yeah, but I think it re-brings back those Zabu builds that were playing like Galactic Gwenpool together.
Yep.
And then you build this into that type of an archetype, like core piece of the deck, and then you can vary from there. What do you want your turn 6 to look like? What do you want your turn 3 to look like? That's really what matters.
It's going to look like Shang-Chi Juggernaut, my man.
Negasonic too.
Like Shang-Chi Juggernaut.
Yes, that is correct. Jeez Louise. It's going to be interesting. So we all feel double platinum or diamond for this card. The preview rating for it.
I think I might have to downgrade it a little bit just because of the Mr. Fantastic Surge stuff, because I just don't know how much that is holding all the decks that this goes in together. And it could be, like, I would imagine that losing 2/2 Mr. Fantastic is worse for any of those decks than gaining Fallen One would be.
True.
Yeah. I don't think this ruins that specifically. I think obviously it's going to hurt it, but I think it just limits the deck a little bit more so in its consistency. Like, if it hadn't been adjusted and then this release next week with 2/2, I mean, that probably becomes the best deck in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's...
Or at least up there.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of identifying that what do you want your other packages around this card to be, and figuring out which one is the best one. Is it exclusively Negasonic and Friends, or is it something else that we're not thinking of? Like, there's some options in here. I just don't know what they are quite yet. I haven't sat down and done my weekly,
I think,
build 8 different decks and see which feels best type.
Yeah.
Give yourself a deck building challenge. Don't put Juggernaut and Shang-Chi in any of them.
Done.
Facts. I just think we're not going to know really how good this card is for another week or two, because outside of the Affliction, Supergiant's about to be in every deck come next week. So we're not even going to see this card get any type
That's a
of
hard
What am I
counter
missing?
to this.
What am I missing about Supergiant being in every deck that wasn't already true?
Well, I'm just saying, no, well, we
It's
didn't mention that
another
before.
reason.
Reason why
this blocks this
you're
card.
saying like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
card's gonna come out and everyone's gonna be like,
Right.
"Ha, idiot!"
Yes,
I buy that.
correct.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to know until the following week how good this card is, because Supergiant on turn 4 always shuts this down. Like, it sucks. Unless, of course, Mr. Fantastic give this one less cost, right? That's what we're hoping for. But if it doesn't, it sucks, because that's going to be a problem come Supergiant next week. But yeah, nonetheless, I do think it's around the platinum based on what it does. And that's pretty awesome. I'm intrigued. Can't wait to see it. And I hope we do get some chances to play it come next week. Now, guess.
Yes.
This is your part where you want to talk about something special before we dive into the final topic.
So this normally, and to kind of, to react to KM's reaction there, normally he leaves me just an open segment to talk about, whatever, whether it's hey, I'm going to bring up this topic, or just like, you choose the topic of the week, this is his podcast.
You have a segment
it's on his channel.
that's like my entire podcast. I get it.
Basically, yeah. It's the like, what does guests want to talk about this week?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm gonna simply say that I don't have a specific topic, but what I do have is September 6th, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Interesting.
Boo.
September 6th
Boo.
it
Look
is.
at it. Look at this. Look at this guy just like, interaction farming. What is this engagement bait? Look at this.
I'm just saying because
September
the
6th,
three of
ladies
us,
and gentlemen.
the three of us are on a podcast, so it's fine.
Oh my
right.
God.
Okay, all right. Well, the next topic, the final topic, we normally look at the comments from the last episode, but since you're live, we sure there's people in the comments that want to ask some types of questions. So chat, ask away. Here's your time to ask questions to KM, Guest, and myself. All right, you guys have less than 2 minutes. Let's see what you guys got for us.
If I'd known we were live, I probably would have worn something other than my underwear.
You're fine.
It's totally fine.
Every time
I
you
just
got
wanted
up
to
to
let everyone
go
know.
Because
off stream,
No, I know. I just wanted.
we didn't see
I know.
much.
I bring it up to let everyone know. I like a lot of the time when I do this stuff, it's like, all right, I'm dressed, right? I got a shirt on, I've got a nice little shirt jacket on. I really like this jacket. It's awesome. And
That's
then
good, you're
from
good.
like the down, it's like shorts. I'm wearing the shortest shorts known to man 100%
well,
of the time.
if I
Is
stand
that
up
what
right
that
now,
glare is? That's coming like underneath the beard, that shine? Is it your legs?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. Very like
Yeah,
they,
listen.
absolutely hairless, perfectly toned. That's how you should imagine my legs in this situation.
If we
I'd
all
rather
stand up
not
right
imagine
now,
your legs, but I'm just
Yeah.
going
Are,
off
though.
of sheen.
It's happening right
I'm
now.
about
I've
to say
incepted
it is,
it
'cause
into
you're
your brain.
thinking
You're
about it.
thinking
I'm
about
about to
it.
say the
Yeah.
same
You're
thing,
not
correct.
wrong, but I'd like to not.
Too bad.
It's totally fine. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm in my underwear as well, so don't you worry. So chat, what's the question you guys have for us?
Actually,
at this
fully
wonderful moment?
nude from the waist down.
So we're gonna compete now. Okay, great.
All
I'm
right.
fully shaved
Okay.
from the
Now,
waist down.
now we know
Damn.
that's not KM's cat. He's just putting his knees up. That's all.
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna make a joke that I wouldn't make if we weren't live, but you might want to edit out. My pussy
Nah.
visible on stream.
Hey,
totally fine. It's
makes them
totally
want to
fine.
come watch the video. That's fine for those who are on the audio
That's
listeners.
correct.
Yep.
That is correct. It looks like a fat one too. So, ladies and gentlemen, what questions do we have in chat? Oh man, let's see what we got. This man Tech better not get up. Okay, greatness. If you want to see greatness, let me know. All right. So we have September 6th is the word. No, we're not talking about that. Okay. When will Elixir get buffed? Do you guys think Elixir needs to get buffed?
Elixir's a card?
I think it's really
Oh,
funny
shit.
how the Marvel Snap community, like, there's about like 4 cards nobody complains about, and every other card it's like it's actually criminal they haven't buffed it, or it's actually criminal they haven't nerfed it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. To me, just from the outside, it feels like when Snap Packs came out, they felt less pressure to instantly make cards strong and make them easy to understand. They felt more willing to make like Frankie Rays and be like, look, we just want to make this card, right? Like more willing to just do things of that nature. Elixir is a card that I think runs a pretty high risk, where this is, if it's ever good, probably really goddamn annoying. And so what buff do you want it to have that doesn't make it really goddamn annoying? Because like it's sort of in that Black Bolt vein where it's like, what this is going to do is something stupid or instantly lose the game. Those are the 2 options here.
That's true. That is very true. So I don't think Elixir needs to get any type of touching going forward. I think it's fine exactly where it is.
Ken's touching the new X-Men.
Spider-Man.
He's not wearing pants.
2099.
We've got to stop this.
Super X God.
Yes, Spider-Man 2099.
All right.
Does it need a rework?
Yes.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. all right.
That like every
I'll wait
card
for
in
that.
the Spider-Verse movies should get reworked to be cool and better. They should do like it's actually kind of insane to me that they don't power creep the spider characters more. If I worked for Second Dinner, I would be buffing every spider character until that was the metagame, because that's literally how Marvel editorial approaches this. Like they know what
true.
side their bread is buttered on. I would be making Superior Spider-Man. I would be doing 800 different... I would be making Spider-Man Noir. I would be making every goddamn spider character in the entire world. I would do an entire year of spiders. I would sell that shit. I would do. Here's a pitch that I've had.
Yeah.
I would do an entire season of Gwen Stacy's. I would do an entire season of Gwen Stacy variants. And
That's
like
awesome.
you could absolutely do that. Where it's like also, did you guys know there was a Gwen Jones? Like that's
Shut
like the
up.
Gwen that's Captain Marvel. There's a Gwen
No
Jones.
way.
Yeah, there's a Gwen Jones. I bring this up largely to say, like, you could totally do that. There's no way any of these people are any more glup shitto than whoever the fuck Frankie Ray is. You could absolutely get away with it.
That is facts. And we shouldn't be waiting for a Spider-Man movie because the Spider-Verse movie is not coming out for another couple years.
Yeah.
They've got like animators in a dungeon.
Yeah, like what is going on with that? That is madness. So you're right. Give us all the Spider-Mans you can and Spider-Women you can right now. Because holy crap. So yeah, we need a rework for that card, 1000%. Kang might get a rework. I think we did see something where Glenn mentioned that before. We'll wait to see what happens to Kang. I mean, for me, I think Kang...
Yeah, that'll happen.
I think Kang is fine the way I play Kang anyway. But unless Kang shows up in the Doomsday movie, I don't know. We'll find out how that works. What else do we have here in chat? We'll take.
I'm gonna
one.
throw this as a quick
ahead,
question
Jess.
to KM though, because like
Yeah.
on the OTA predictions and buffs and needs, like in the world where we have as much conversation around Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Juggernaut and Merkball, we'll count that as one together, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
How do you address that package, that group
Okay.
of cards in the current scape?
I think it's worth talking about them individualized, unfortunately, because people group them together because what they do is win lanes, but there's sort of a different thing going on with each of them. Juggernaut in the comics was once launched into space through Thanos' skull, like fired like a bullet from a gun, and just blew up Thanos' entire shit. That's what they should do to Juggernaut in the game. They should launch him into space and then never, ever, ever go get him. Just leave him there. That's what they did.
Wow.
Cannonball and Mercury, I mean, I'll flog myself here a little bit. I hit rank 1 with Cannonball Mercury. That's the only deck I've hit rank 1 with. I have a soft spot for that kind of crap, right? Like it was awesome for me to hit rank 1 on stream. That's not a thing a lot of people did. And you know, obviously I'm washed now. But this is still around, and it was a problem back then. And it's so weird for people to be like, oh, it's a problem now. Where it's like, this has
Right,
never
it's been
been
a
a
problem.
fair thing. It's always been pretty dumb. Why are we talking about it now? And the answer is probably Golden Gauntlet. But the way in which that works is fundamentally a lot more fair than the way in which something like Juggernaut works. Juggernaut is just 3-cost Goliath. No work, just it'll do that. And you can play around it, but like it'll do that. Cannonball Mercury is on that line where it's like, I think you probably want to do something about it if you can. I don't know what that thing is. Where if you don't necessarily have Fenris Wolf as a force multiplier, it's not nearly so problematic. If it's just something that requires you to devote this, like maybe if Cannonball was a 6-drop, right? Like just some baseline stuff where it's like you could fix that around the margins and leave them mostly intact. Negasonic, I think people getting mad at her are kind of insane. She's just shitty Juggernaut. Go get mad at Juggernaut first. Like, she's just bad Juggernaut. Like, I get it, she's cool, but like, be fucking for real. It's Juggernaut. Juggernaut is 1A here. She is like Z. He is the triple diamond. She is like, you know, maybe going platinum. Juggernaut is the Kendrick, and he is J-Rock. Or she is J-Rock.
J-Rock. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with being J-Rock.
No,
it's fine to
not.
be J-Rock or Schoolboy
Right.
Q, but
Correct.
that's not the same.
No. So you think Juggernaut needs to go away for good?
I want to put
And
Juggernaut in jail.
Yeah, and Cannonball can go to a 6, which I think is fair. No, I like
5-6,
those
yeah.
changes. I like that change. I don't know if they let Juggernaut go away. I just don't know what they do with Juggernaut. They need to do something with him for sure.
I want to 5-8 him. I think that's the nuke I have. I want to 5-8 him. I want to make
Juggernaut?
him 5-8. Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, that's definitely.
If you want to win a
that's-
lane, pay 5 for it. Like, I'm sorry. If you want to win a lane, pay 5. Because I feel like if we make him cost 4, we've just had a whole thing where it's like, well, I'm just going to make him cost 3. You know,
Right,
Like,
right,
I'm gonna surge him.
right.
I'm gonna Mr. Fantastic him. I'm gonna Zabu him. Like, okay, who gives a shit? 5'8". Play fair.
Right. I like it. I want to see what happens. They need to make that change. They need to do something because those cards are definitely still doing good things or crazy things in the meta. What do you feel about Guess? How do you feel about that? I know you brought the question up. Was that where your goal and where your thought process was?
I think I agree with the fact that Negasonic's less of a problem. I think that it was buffed because they wanted it to be, you know, like people to remember the card, and now people remember the card and they just throw it into the Fenris package. I think by simply taking the 2 power off of off of Cannonball and take 1 power off of Fenris, that's it. I think that fixes all of that part of the package. Juggernaut, I feel like, is like, he is incredibly good, but I don't know what the right way to fix him is outside of making him 5 cost. Like, because I agree, 4 cost isn't the answer. You just Zabu him and you still play him in the same decks, and you know he still does what you need him to do to win a lane. He needs like a truly different adjustment. Like, it hits out the lowest cost card out of the lane only. You know, it put targeting on it, but at a downside, rather than whatever you played this turn, okay, thanks, bye. Like, I think something along those lines is what they end up doing in the future, because you can't just change his power and cost. I would love to see them make him a 3/2 just to say that they did something, but it's not going to change dramatically anything and everything that they do to him. He just needs something more extensive. I just don't know what that is.
Right. Okay. All right. That's fair. I want to see those changes. I do. I hope it happens because the meta will be in a way better place for it. All right. I mean, that's it. That's all the questions we have here from chat. Before we go, you guys have anything you want to say to the people out there?
Hello, people I didn't know were out here.
Surprised.
I didn't know there were people out here for the vast majority of this. Frankly, I'm just glad that I didn't, embarrass myself too much. Thank you so much for dealing with it. And thanks to Guest and STG for dealing with 2 hours of my just woke up from a nap and took an Excedrin for the caffeine yapping. Because that's
we love it here, trust me.
That's what I was doing this whole time. So
yeah. And
would you believe that's actually like a shockingly large part of my day to day is like, which dosage of caffeine am I gonna take? Like, what is the specific like Excedrin? That's 65 milligrams, I believe. A cup of coffee, similar range, depending. I've got pills that are 100 or they're 200, but if you cut them in half, they're 100. And it's like I don't want to go. I know how much I weigh. I don't want to get like unsafe caffeine abuse, but also I'm hopelessly addicted to caffeine. So what am I supposed to do about it?
Have you ever tried NeuroGum?
No, that sounds like it would absolutely.
Phenomenal.
That sounds like it would be incredible, and I can't.
I gotta send you a pack now.
Oh,
for sure,
God.
gotta send you a pack. I didn't expect the hit that I got from it one time, and holy man, no, it's crazy. I was just like, what is this gum? Like, how does this even exist? It is bananas, KM. I promise you, I'm sending you a pack.
See, like that.
Sure.
See, like that makes way more sense to me. Like, oh, we got caffeinated gum. Guest is like,
Yeah.
you put a multivitamin in that.
And if you guys don't
with
know,
a gummy bear, done.
Yes, you don't know where to find KM. Shame on you. No, seriously,
I'm
KMBest
everywhere.
is the name everywhere. Make sure you guys go and check him out. We greatly appreciate him being here.
No,
Yes,
it's not.
anything you
I
need to
learned
say?
this the hard way. It's not KMBest everywhere.
Oh, really?
It's
Where-
KMBest.
This
MS.
poor woman.
Oh,
On Twitter, there's a poor woman named Catherine Best who is
Wow.
at KMBest, and I feel very bad for her because
Oh my gosh.
I have almost
She
certainly caused a
changed her name.
vast increase in the number of sweaty nerds that she interacts with.
She
Yes.
better change her name.
Poor Catherine.
That is hilarious. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's actually. I started to laugh.
Just-
oh man, Catherine, we apologize.
I feel bad.
Yeah, we feel bad
not
for
bad.
you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. I hope to get you back here again another
man.
time. That's what we do here, man. We just talk Snap, and I'm sure if we meet in public, we're gonna talk Snap all day long too. So,
Yes.
Not
All
leaving
right.
my house. It's not happening. I'm going absolutely nowhere.
I need to go learn about sweating now.
He has
Yeah.
peace.